This is the October 17th Lodging Tax Advisory Committee. And present are Fred Chang, Chan Park, Lorraine Olson, Bobby Stewart, Brandy Reinerson, Kathy Michael, and Chris Stansberry. So, well, that was the introduction and roll call. What we have planned tonight are a series of interviews with the applicants. The time is a little flexible because some of them are not expected to take their all the time that they were allotted for each, 15 minutes for each item. Like the chamber is not expected to take 45 minutes. So the agenda may be a little fluid. We will finish here either by 7 or 8. We probably will not be deliberating tonight unless we get over early, but it's most likely not. So we'll have to figure out another time. It could be later this week.
Well, I know when I did the doodle poll, I think we did it all the way up to, I thought the 21st, 22nd, I can't remember for sure. Might have been just to the 18th. Thought it was later, and this was the only day that anybody can meet, so unless we push it off in November.
Well,
But I don't know if I did the last week of October, I can't remember.
I was going to propose like Thursday, Friday, or Monday. Are you guys open to that?
I know I can't do Thursday.
Okay.
I can't do Thursday.
Okay. Well,
Friday I stay open till 8.
okay.
Sorry.
Well, how about next Monday around the same time?
No, Mondays, is that Halloween?
No, it's a week
It's a
before.
week, okay, I can do the 24th.
Did the 24th at 5 sound doable?
I think so.
I have no idea.
I didn't bring my calendar.
Yeah, mine always flexes on guests that are in and if they've checked in.
And I will not be available on the 24th, but I can make sure staff is here.
Okay.
I will look at my calendar.
Okay.
So-
I'm okay.
Well,
I'm
let's-
okay with that.
Let's say that's tentative, the 24th. That is if we don't want to do tonight.
Help
Maybe
yourself.
everything
I have
goes
lo- I have lots
smoothly
more.
we'll do tonight.
There should be plenty.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And I've got another.
I was just thinking about it. So, you know, we have 13 applications. Let's see, the first one's here.
Before the first one was in, wasn't there something directly before the council? Didn't this get sent to a presentation to the council?
Yes, but it didn't involve any sort of budget
it's just-
item.
Okay.
Wow, this might be Jesse.
This is the educational piece to the economic development tourism, from what I understood, committee.
I heard the elevator, so I assumed that might be Jesse.
You've got good ears. You know the sounds of the building.
I'm also facing that way. I was
There you go.
like, no, you're.
Are there any ghosts in this building?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm always so curious about that.
I haven't experienced any, so.
Well, it's probably not old enough to have ghosts in it
So you
yet.
see right here.
Hi.
Hi.
And Jesse Turner's just joined. We're recording the meeting.
Thank you.
Agenda and last
they're
year.
here. And we're tentatively penciling
Yeah,
next
great.
Monday, the 5th, for deliberation.
Okay. No
Um,
So,
We're going to see if everyone can make that. So do you guys have any last minute questions or before we hear the applicants?
Brandy, what on the hotel local distribution, what's?
Jesse, we have a couple of different kinds of cookies here. With yourself, and there's lots more too.
For what
She
year?
said into the
For
microphone.
This last year,
2015?
yeah, 6225. Who did that belong to?
What number are you looking at?
Under,
Kids at Mark.
on the
I
2016,
think that's supposed to be visit. Let me see. I think that's supposed to be visit. Kids At. Visit
Are you on
Kids.
the 84,000
Yeah.
page or are you on the 119?
84,000.
Okay. And where is it?
It's right towards the bottom. It says Kitsap Marketing.
I think
Oh,
it's
there.
supposed to be Visit Kitsap.
Okay.
And this may actually come in handy when we discuss the awards. It's just useful information to have. Well, if you guys are ready, let me go see if Patty's ready. Start a
Should I
little
take the
quick.
cookies off the table when we have the speakers in here?
Probably that's
So
a
we should
good
be
idea.
eating.
That's what we usually.
Everybody take one more.
Everybody, grab another cookie.
I'll pass.
Another cookie over here.
I'm passing it.
Pass them and I can put them on the table.
Oh, thank you. Like another cookie? These would be really good with tea.
Oh, yeah.
My mother-in-law made a pie with these. Use these as the
Oh,
crust.
the crust, yeah.
Really? Oh my gosh.
I can't remember what kind of pie base, but I remember. her
Like a
using
lemon
this.
pie would be really good for citrusy. Hi.
So I didn't bring enough packets, but I hope you can share if you don't mind. I didn't bring a lot. I didn't bring a lot either, so. Anyway, thank you. All right, nice to see you. All right, so I have my presentation. So these are just small little packets of a few things. So, and some of you have already seen some of them, so I'll just, if you want to share
Thank you.
here, and then if you could, if you wouldn't mind, and then these are just a few other things. So, did I grab the right publications? I hope I did. Oh well. So, anyway, I'm here today for, I think this is my 7th year. My goodness. So I'm requesting $12,000, which is a little more than a double an increase from last year, which was 65. But I have, from the deliverables that I provided to the county last year, I guess that's, I did 2 sheets there. These deliverables, these describe what is covered in the $12,000, and it's $1,000. And actually, to some degree, we've been providing all of these services this year as well.
Where is that page that
Oh, this
you're
is
calling
the
this is
deliverables?
in your application.
Oh, you've got it in the application.
Yeah, I put it in the application. Yep. So that is really, because for, we appreciate the fact that, Port Orchard has limited funds compared to City of Bremerton, and so our mission really, as always, is to be a partner. And so we just have asked for the 12, which is really $1,000 a month, just to provide the online, the marketing services, the Facebook services, and I had a 4-hour meeting today, and I left some stuff in my copier. I'm sorry, I really wanted to get those. Anyway, they were Facebook results of we have really a lot of success with our Facebook. We hired a professional journalist, and she does all of our travel writing, but she also does all our social media. And we've been getting on some of our Facebook posts for like the Blackberry Festival, we had 65,000. And in fact, on one of your handouts right here,
Is that like 65,000 likes or?
no, it's a reach,
Okay.
a reach, and then that might result in 640 shares. And so anyway, I had copies of that. And one of the samples that you have right here, for instance, this is one that we did with, which was about it has a newsletter right there that we do. We post those and we buy boosts. And does everyone know what a boost is? You buy it for $50. Oh, $50. So on Facebook you can post something and then buy a boost. So we'll buy boosts into the Seattle market, which is great. And so we pay to buy these boosts. And so for this one, yeah, actually you can tell because there's a boost has a bright orange line, and then the lighter line is the regular if you don't boost it. So for this e-newsletter, we would buy a boost, which talked about all the summer concerts, and so we featured Port Orchard on this particular newsletter, and so that boost so far was at 17,000. So in other words, you just reach a lot more people when you buy a boost. So we include that in our, the lodging tax, but we're also paying, for the writer. She's a professional journalist. She writes, actually, she's freelance, Terry Bleich, and she does a lot of foodies. We just did one for this e-newsletter, October on Bay Street Bistro. And then we also pay another gal, and she does nothing but go around researching calendar of events. And because we don't get a lot of folks sending us information, and because we do our newsletter a month in advance, so for instance, a chocolate festival, those kinds of things that we double check everything. So like the chocolate festival ended up in the Sun, but then we found out it was postponed, so we made sure we didn't put it in our newsletter that it was going to happen. But so we pay somebody actually to go and make sure that the events that for Fathoms of Fun, whatever, we just double check. The biggest problem that we have is that sometimes we're ahead of the curve and a lot of people don't have things posted. It's just because it's nonprofit. So we really try to make sure if there isn't information posted, we'll make sure that we have that information on our calendar about the date, the time, the place. So one of the things that we're really trying to do with the communities is really position all of them, including Port Orchard, as quote-unquote attractions. We're definitely trying to help the hotels, but we're also trying to make sure that people understand this is a great place to come all year round. We do promote the individual events, but we also recognize that due to weather and a lot of other things, that we're just trying to promote coming to Port Orchard or coming to the Kitsap Peninsula anytime. And if there's events going on, terrific. But we really just want to make sure that our hotels are full all year round. So some of the activities, one of the activities we did that was a special event that we think was really successful and want to do it again was with the Port Orchard Chamber, and which was Obliteride. And I think I mentioned Obliteride to you before, but that's a major Seattle event. And if you look at the people on here, that's your demographic. These are your cyclists, and these are people with lots of money to spend that would come back and go to your restaurants and bring their kids. And so we feel, and the amount of money that this took for us to participate in this was relatively small, and we provided, I think, $750 to the Port Orchard Chamber of lodging tax money, because we don't have staff, and they do, so we use that money so that Matt could then have members of the Port Orchard Chamber help man this. It was only for like 3 hours, but it was a really successful partnership. So we're trying to use the lodging tax money from the county, as well as the money that we do get from the municipalities, and leverage that by combining it so that there's a benefit for everyone. The same is true on, here's just a few ads, and I'm sorry, this was supposed to have something else on the back, but this was for the Paul's Bowl presentation. But it does show, this is some public relations that we did with Marina Magazine. This is a national publication, and they contacted us about doing cruising, but they were specifically looking for information about Paul's Bowl, and we couldn't change that. But again, we did help them. But what I wanted to show you is on this side is the different ads that we do run that always feature the Port Orchard hotels and targeting and depending on the size of the ad will also include, like this one for outdoor recreation will include events. And these are I thought sometimes people like to see the actual publication, so this is the actual ad in the publication.
Oh, looks like the other one.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we're also doing things like Inside Golf. I believe that you are in the Inside Golf one because you have, and Trophy Lake got, I want to make sure you're in here before I gave it to you. Ooh, are you? I did a couple different versions. So you are in one of these Inside Golfs. Oh, McCormick Trophy Lake is there. So, but anyway, there's a wide range of publications, including in wedding events. So a fraction of the money that we receive from each of the different municipalities goes and is combined together to be able to purchase these media. And the VCB signs all the contracts, so there's no, the municipalities don't have to sign any contracts, and we handle it. And then this is the new outdoor recreation map that we did that is really flying off the shelves. It's really popular. It's a visit, and in this we printed 25,000 of these, but we've got money from the county Public Works because they want to not have a lot of advertising, but we feature Port Orchards in here, and so a portion of your lodging tax dollars contributes this. This cost about $13,000 to print, and then it was a significant design. But it's a bike map, a much needed. It's distributed in REI stores in Seattle and in Tacoma, and we made sure that the Port Orchard was featured on here with bike routes all along here. So, and then of course, Port Orchard is part of our water trails, which is our national water trail. So those are some of the benefits, I think, of your participation with Visit Kitsap, is that we're just making sure that people know that you're definitely a must-see destination when they're visiting the Kitsap Peninsula region. I think that there's other...
May I see that before you put it away?
Oh,
That one right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
thank you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. And then here's another thing. This is just a Welcome to Kitsap Peninsula. That was a general map that was developed and for distribution, people requested. But anything like this, even this one, this was a full-page ad that we paid for that was in Northwest Yachting Magazine that includes the Port Orchard Marina. And so we paid for that, but whenever possible, we're always trying to include all the different partners. This one happened to be for boating, but we received, I think there was $500 I think from the historic downtown Fallsville to help them promote this particular event, which was their Liquors and Lovers event, which was in January. So, this is a tourism report that we send out that tells you a little bit more about what we're doing. And I do it by email, but if you want a hard copy, I'm always certainly happy to provide that. I'll leave that, and then you're welcome to read those. But I think that we're maintaining a page for Port Orchard on our website, and do you folks have a Facebook page that says welcome, just for Port Orchard, City of Port Orchard? Is it do all the different, does your group all like communicate about what's going on using Facebook, or is it?
We do, but it's limited. It's not, it's not to promote events or anything like that, it's just more, hey, there's a water main flushing.
Oh, right,
those type of
okay.
things.
It's sort of been news.
So
We
that's
haven't
the
expanded
city.
the full
So,
use of
so
it,
in
I
other
should
words,
say.
so I was just meeting with the people in Kingston today. That's
Mm-hmm.
where I was doing. And one of the ideas that I suggested to them, and they just were going crazy about it, was that they have a community Facebook page, because they're a similar situation where they have all these little organizations or businesses that are all doing stuff. And now that Airbnbs and B&Bs are becoming so popular, and they're paying into lodging tax, the interest was being able to have a hot sheet for people that are coming about what's going on. And that's a challenge to do, whereas if there was a Facebook page where all the different businesses were saying, hey, this is what we're doing, we're having a wine tasting, this is what's happening, we can use that and market that for you. That would then say, here's all the great stuff happening, right now. And so if there's, what would require though, because we were meeting with the port as well, is that if there were a way to find, resources to be able to have somebody that could keep the Facebook page up to date and sort of monitor it. But we could certainly help with the marketing and the promotion of that for you to, build more traffic on something
I don't know
like
that it's
that.
something that the city would engage in.
No,
because
that's
of
what I'm
public
saying.
laws,
So
but-
it might be something collectively. And
We
the
have
VCB,
non-city Facebook groups that are bigger than the cities.
yeah, okay.
Who's your Facebook person or?
Well,
Is it
I
changed
pay, well, what I do is we pay a professional, Terry Kleitz, who's the
Okay.
professional. She does our she does the e-newsletter and the Facebook, and then also works with the travel writers, and then she does the e-newsletter, Facebook, and the reason is that they're it's sort of really connected, and then she works real closely with the person that does all the research on the calendar of events, because in the e-newsletter we try to put save the dates, and so we make sure that when we do that e-newsletter that all of the things that are putting in there are actually happening. So, but what we do find is that it's really challenging to get accurate information, but if that information, even if it was preliminary, could be posted on a Facebook, save the date for, watch for details, then you're driving people back to the Facebook page. And you can have it so it can be monitored, real closely. But then you could buy your own boosts as well. But we buy boosts, and we would be happy to help you with that. If there's something that we could do we would be happy to use our professional resources and help you set up a Facebook page if that would be useful as part of the funding. We could provide our consulting, and you could work with, so that you could set something up like that. But again, the just trying to get information on all the different stuff that's going on in one place.
What's your lead time? I know print for lead time is usually 3 months at least.
Oh, no,
or-
but ours is digital, so we, 2 weeks.
Okay.
I mean.
So 2 weeks to 3 months? or-
Well, actually 1 month, because we do every month. We're doing it every single month, so we try and get it out right on the 1st. And the sooner the better, of course. And then what happens is that, she also does the blog. So it's one person. So a lot of times the front story on the e-newsletters might be the blog post. So we post those separately. And so we'll do a featured city, or we'll do a foodie, and those, then we buy boosts on those. So those become really, really popular. So our Facebook likes, we're at 5,600 right now, and that's like a 1,600 likes since March 10th we were at 3,000. So we're almost at 5,600 right now. And that's just because we have had this one person dedicated on that. So you get to take advantage of that. And there's no additional charge if we buy the boost. We just include that in the funding that we receive. So if I can answer any questions you might have.
I have a couple quick ones. Do you guys have any? I want to go last. So you guys, your questions are, okay. IC is what you do is sort of online, email, and print. Would you say that's a third, or what sort of percentages?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I would have to, you know what, I'd have to run the numbers on that.
Okay.
And the reason is that the media, a half-page ad or even a third-page ad in a particular publication might be $1,500. We pay the writer, professional writer, about $3,000 a month. But that includes the e-newsletter to 13,000 people, and so when and the postings on Facebook. So if you're reaching somebody and you get 65,000 people, that the dollar amount. So I look at depending on the cost, you know. The print media collectively, just for the media cost, may be more expensive than the writer, but in some cases we may be getting more benefit out of the writer on digital. And so much now also is banner ads on digital. So when you say the print, I guess I'm sort of almost getting to the point where print is digital, you know what I mean? Because people are now looking at that and reading it as if it was a newspaper or online. So, but that's a good question. I'd be happy to look into it.
I was just curious because our council, we were talking about how many are used to like the old-fashioned print versus just anything online.
Yes.
And we were roughly half and half.
Yeah, I think like for a wedding show, for instance, this is a trade. We get a whole trade for her, so we don't spend any money, and then we put a wedding ad in here. But then she also includes us in all of her online stuff, everything is part of that. And then we promote this magazine on the wedding page, and and she then features us at her wedding show. And when people go to the shows, they want something. So, you know what I mean? It's just the Seattle Wedding Show. And then this is the golf publication. And so people, and one of the things that we did do is there was a study on, especially millennials, while they get all of their information and do all of their planning online, when they arrive someplace, they want something to carry around. They want to have a map, they want to have a brochure so that they can have something to hold. So. But the planning generally is done online, so.
And how much do you work with Discovery?
Well, they're a partner of ours.
So-
Oh yeah, in fact, so we do a trade on this. So we market this. In fact, this has almost 1 million impressions on our website because we have this on every single page. In fact, this year coming up, she's going to actually include the fact that we put this on our websites, on every one of our community pages, because now that it's a digital publication. So we have a regional map in here, we have the water trails map in here, and then we also have an ad. And then they give us all these other little small ads that are in here. I can't find them, but there's a whole bunch of little ones that say come stay and play. And so it's Donna Etchie, and so we partner with them a lot because we also work with them on public relations, and so this is important. But again, we're buying it from a regional perspective. I think the cost for something local, you'd want to look at that because they do have a section on Port Orchard, right? So, I think it's a good overall publication, and it is on the ferries.
Right.
I don't know that it is an ideal publication for marketing hotels. That would be But for the VCB's purposes, it helps us support somebody who is a regional partner. So, but I would say that the Facebook and everything is more immediate.
So, Fred, I have a couple of questions. So, my understanding from here is that the funding that you've requested will fund these general advertising venues that will mention Port Orchard. Is that correct?
It will all current, pretty much current marketing that we do. It's a contribution. I mean, largely the county's pretty much taking the lead on it, but you know, we do include the local hotels, and we do make sure that all of your local and community events are included in a timely manner. So we do provide that personalized promotion for your personal events as well, whether it's paying for Facebook posts, etc. So you're not just only represented in the regional. We do like the cover of the e-newsletter where we'll feature, you know, I think one of those we did Port Orchard as a featured town, and then we'll do restaurants and things. So is that what you're thinking?
Sure. And then looking at, just to give me, because I'm trying to wrap my head around
Yeah, that's
around
fine.
this a little bit. You've given such good examples. What would our ad look like in the wedding book, as an example?
Well, so she charges I think it's even more than that. I think it's like 600 for a third page. So what I do is, rather than, I just am right here, for instance, I'm marketing pretty much just weddings. So it's visitkidsapp.com weddings. And the reason that we do the conference center is because we get money from the Kitsap Public Facilities District, specifically for the conference center. And so we do a lot of things where we're just marketing the venues, and then anybody who's a wedding venue, if they want to be I know you're not interested, even though a lot of people would still love to get married there, is then we would put those venues on the wedding page. And so again, when we had the meeting today with the people in Kingston and talking with them, is that just trying to pretty much make sure everybody knows that Kitsap Peninsula is the place to come because there's so much to do, including in Port Orchard. So cycling is something that we really, and outdoor recreation is something that we really push for Port Orchard because of the scenic route. So that's why on this particular project, we were really showcasing South Kitsap and Port Orchard as a place that we felt would be attractive to cyclists.
Nice.
So that wouldn't be something we'd probably necessarily do for Central Kitsap, for Silverdale. That would be a little different type of a marketing strategy.
Very nice. And then just one little question. You had mentioned, I think that one of the nice things about this is you were able to list some hotels. Would there ever be a time you put some bed and breakfast on here?
Oh,
too?
absolutely. Well, what we could do, one of the things, now that the B&Bs, and we are actually talking with the Washington State B&B because they have, and I might need your help with that, is they were listing you under Olympic Peninsula, which is, I think that was just sort of a historical thing that we tried to work on over the last 7 years, is help people understand. But every time I contacted, they go, well, the person listing the B&B, that's the box they checked, but there was no box to check for Kitsap. So what we'd really like to do, especially with the growth of B&Bs and Airbnbs, is to really market into that. Our feeling is that can also be another lodging sales channel, because we are somewhat limited in our hotels, and the B&Bs and Airbnbs are really good for families that may want to stay for a longer period of time. So one of the things we're planning, the hotels, is in the first week of November, 3 members of our board are hosting a Kitsap lodging meeting at the Oxford Suites to talk to all the local hoteliers about their, how 2016 went, and then what are they looking at as far as 2017, as far as, strategies, what target markets they'd really like to pursue, so that we can develop marketing strategies based on what you want.
Nice.
Yeah, and what you're doing. So that's something we're really, Bremerton is now back on board, I'm happy to report, after 3-year absence. The Eric Younger City Council said, it's time to get back on board. So we got 100% of our funding, but we didn't apply again for very much because we weren't sure what was going to happen, but they gave us 100% of funding. So now we have Bremerton back on board, so we're happy about that.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you. We ran over.
That's all right.
Thank you.
No,
That's
no,
okay.
that's
No, I
okay.
started.
But thank you so much. I really appreciate.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and we enjoy working and do enjoy working with you. Here, all those, you guys can have all those if you wish. All those. And then would you like to keep the reports? You're welcome to keep them. Yeah.
We'll keep whatever you.
Yeah. I want to, so this is one I put in here because this is the beach. And it's in North Kitsap, but it was for Seattle Met magazine, and again, we're trying to market the whole area, but the Point No Point, which is really popular, is where the lighthouse is, was ranked number 8 best beach in Washington State.
Wow.
And then this one was this is an international vacation idea website, and we actually were outranked by Olympic National Park as one of the 25 best places to visit in Washington State. So those are all things that definitely, benefit the whole region, but also City of Port Orchard. So,
Nice.
so anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You need your bag?
Yeah, I do. It's my shop local. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Patricia.
Bye-bye.
Actually go get the, I just thought about it, the light that we use for the council chambers for 15 minutes, I can get that. Does that help instead of here?
No, that's okay, we can just, we can just say.
I thought Fred said his
I was,
timer.
I
did
was,
too.
I was watching, but I was waiting for Fred to say something.
I wouldn't have asked such a lengthy question.
no, it's not a
I
problem.
do monitor myself if I know.
No, I should have paused sooner so we could ask questions. So.
We're at the head of the table.
Yes.
I bet.
I'll have to call this meeting.
No pressure.
Well, thank you for coming, and we see that the Saints is asking for $18.50 for advertising the cruise.
Right.
We see that it's a portion of your entire budget, maybe less than 10%.
The $18.50 helps us with the advertisement, it lets us expand out.
You guys have any questions?
No, I just think they have shown every year the reason we support them.
Yeah,
Their budget is so well managed.
And you bring so many people to downtown Port Orchard. I mean, it's just something that people look forward to every year, and you do such a good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want more?
We ask him this every
I mean,
year.
that's such
I'm
a
asked that every year, and I think in fairness to the others that have smaller events and need advertising money, would be good with what we asked for.
I think you ought to do a training program so that everybody else can pick up your methodology of how you've been so successful. I might just will tell you, inevitably, we have a house full the weekend you come, and they are thrilled. They are absolutely thrilled to be able to go down.
We put flyers all the way up and down the coast and up into Canada, and we have people that come that far. We had one from Texas and one from Nevada this last year.
Wow, that's awesome.
I think you had an entire family down there from New Hampshire, so you could spread yourself.
It was a nice year for it.
was a good year.
We worry about bad weather because we spend so much money buying t-shirts and trophies and everything that have to be bought before the event. And if you get a rain out, there's no income, then you have to take your rainy day fund and make it up. We put a little bit every year into a couple $100 into that fund to keep building it up.
Good idea. But we had a perfect weather day this year.
Oh, it was great.
It was wonderful.
And the people that parked their
I know.
Chevys behind you,
I know, they had a party
They've already asked
in my
to-
parking lot.
they contacted me to make sure that they could do it again next year.
For sure.
Like a little tailgater down there.
It's the first year they used my parking lot.
That's nice.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
No, I just want
Okay.
to say thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Job well done every year.
The car club was formed in 1953 by Gail Dow at the police station. And we've just grown from there for the community.
So 19,
We enjoy the day. We don't enjoy the 4 months before or the 3 months after, but we enjoy the day.
so 1953, that's like 50, 60,
63.
No. That's 63? Yeah.
63 years.
63 years, yeah.
Wow, so 60, this will be your 64th?
It ran strong until the Vietnam confliction, and it died down for a few years, and then the guys started getting older and decided to reinstate it. They moved to the Handlers Car Club and started the racing out at the airport. And then they came back. There's a lot of us that are belong to both the organizations.
Wow, that's an awesome history.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
We're proud to do it for you.
Thank you.
For the
Thank you very
community.
much. It's a big part of our city.
Is there anything else we can do for you? You have my parking lot. You have the front of my
I think we got everything covered.
don't
And the
know.
side of your
And
store.
the side, let me think, could I put you on the roof? Maybe.
We're worried about having enough spots for this year because it's going to be our 30th anniversary.
I know.
And so we're doing some extra things for that. We haven't got them formulated yet, so I can't tell you what they are, but we're trying to do special things for this coming year.
Great.
We'll look forward to that.
Pardon?
We'll look forward to that, what you're going to do for your
Okay.
anniversary celebration.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Thank you. Good. It's Fathom's 50th, isn't it, Jesse?
Fathom's is the 50th
It's their 50th.
event, 50th
50th
year.
year, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Adams is 50 and we're 30. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, that's a shoe-in.
Every time.
I mean, what did they ask for last year? I thought it was
1875, they actually asked us for $25 more last year.
And they only reimbursed 1870, so they were still under budget.
Hi, you all. Hello there. I was told I had to make it short. Hi, I'm Sharon King with Fathoms of Fun. What kind of questions you got? Does this one include concerts? Did you do it all?
This
in one?
includes concerts. It's all inclusive in one. And so, first off, Fathoms is turning 50 years old next year, and we want a really big bang in the city for our 50th anniversary. And one of the fun things that we're going to implement, Jesse doesn't even know it yet. I don't think I've shared that with Jesse because our board meeting's coming up, but we're going to have goldfish races for our golden anniversary. And Dana Sawyer came up with the idea, and he said you just simply put them in gutters, block them, you get straws and you blow the goldfish. He said, we can go buy a bunch of goldfish, but to get kids to bring down frogs and snakes, we can't do that anymore. So anyway, that's just one of our new things that we're gonna do this year. Don't look at me like that, Chris.
I'm gonna call the Humane Society. They are so cute. They are so cute. Well, we look to do pretty much what we did last year, with the exception of we want to increase the whole overall emphasis of our 50th anniversary for the City of Port Orchard, South Kitsap. And we will be, can I spill the beans of what we're trying to put together for Grand Marshal? I don't know if you should or not.
Okay, I'll hold that then.
Oh, gee.
So now you're all going to be in suspense. We're working on a nice celebrity for
We'll
our
wait.
Grand
It's a
Marshal.
sports figure.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah, we're working on that. So anyway, I did attach our list of events for you, and if any of you noticed on the list of events, we are planning to bring back the Dinghy Derby this year. The Dinghy Derby was way before I ever got involved with Fathoms. I don't know if any of you remember the Dinghy Derby?
When they did them on the street?
No,
Oh, okay.
in the water, in the water. I'd already checked with the port last year, and she was okay with launching over by the West Bay area and then getting them to the downtown marina, and she okayed that last year, so I'm sure that we'll be able to still pursue that. So I've listed that on our events that we do. We're just getting ready to kick off our Santa breakfast coming up, but our advertising, last year we marketed in the Kitsap Business Journal, and I attached a copy of that to the original packet. Did those get distributed to yours? Okay, I didn't bring extra copies. I should have brought, no, I didn't attach it, did I? No, I'm sorry, I didn't attach it.
Didn't attach what?
The Kitsap Business Journal on the very back page, the ad that we did on the very back page of the Discover magazine. Discover magazine.
The back page.
Pardon?
The back cover.
The very,
or you said back page.
it's the back page next to it,
Okay.
yeah. Because Explore Port Orchard did one side and then Fathoms did the other side. And then we also put in a big ad for the fireworks show in there. And the main reason for doing that particular piece is because of the fact it goes on the ferry. And we want to stretch as far as we can. This year we want to try and do some other marketing over in Seattle, and maybe through some of the concierge hotels that we have over there for some of our events. And there was a couple of new websites, I'm drawing a blank for them, I don't have it written down, that we had been told of that would help market in our, I guess, our southern area, in Olympia, Lacey, going down I-5 corridor to where we can start doing some advertising down there. As far as raising money goes, you see where we have reached out. I've already made the presentation to Wave Broadband as our main fireworks sponsor. I asked for 25, but if we get our 12.5 as he's given us the last 9 years, I'll be thrilled with the 12.5, but I did ask for 25.
Are you asking CenturyLink too?
No, I didn't go to CenturyLink because I just felt that that's just such a conflict of competition. Pardon? I know, but that's not my nature to do that.
That's what you want?
Yes, that's the one. Thank you, Chris. That's the ad that we did in the Discover magazine. They built a new ad for us this year.
That's nice.
And then we have a fireworks ad that strictly shows off the Wave Broadband fireworks, or Wave now, it's no more Broadband, over Sinclair Inlet, and that's further up in that magazine that's there. But that one, like I said, goes out to all of the ferries, and we really like that ad. It's in all the chamber offices, and I feel like that's probably a piece that gets picked up and distributed into homes more than anything else does. So we would like to continue, and that's the most expensive chunk of advertising that we do.
I love that side by side.
Yeah, that was really nice. That was really nice because it really emphasizes the South Kitsap area and what is going on in our lower area.
And of course, the fireworks always fills up your hotel 2 months in advance, at least 2 months in advance. And I know that, I think parade weekend, you were probably full at the same time. And so our events do bring downtown advertising. Our run this year, we've moved it from Memorial Day weekend to having it on the second weekend in June, from the standpoint that we felt that having it over the weekend of Memorial Day, too many people are just out of town and on vacation, and we really want to build the run. We did increase in numbers last year, and our advertising for the run goes out in December. Most of what we've done so far has been free, other than putting it in the Discover magazine, our festival of events, and any other advertising that we do. And so we increased from 86 to 112. I was expecting at least 300 last year, but we didn't get 300. So we're hoping that we'll continue to grow the event, because it is a really fun event that we do.
Well, the weather wasn't as great either.
The weather was just really bad. Even for our vendor show, it was really, really bad for our vendor show. So we do really want to put on a really super party, kind of like our centennial party, because Fathoms has been here for a very, very long time. And we've convinced Jessie that she needs to stay on the board for at least another year to help with the parade.
So I'm not supposed to talk, so.
I know, you don't have to, I'm just kind of
Good nod.
putting that out there. And if you've looked at our budget, we're a very small board of 13. And when you look at a budget of 113,000 for what we do, I think that's pretty nice. Our concerts on the Bay, we just contracted with a new concert called Uncle Ernie Band, and they're out of Seattle. They play up and down Seattle waterfront side all the way to Everett, and they are a great rock and roll band. And we went to a concert over in Des Moines at Wally's Chowder House, and they packed the place, and they're 600. Our most expensive concert's 14. The average concert is between 4 and 6. Danny Vernon, the exception, and Joey Jewell, Frank Sinatra, those are the other two exceptions. We did not get the sponsorship that we had hoped for. We ended up with only 1,000 from Kitsap Bank last year. I'm asking for 2,500 from Kitsap Bank for concerts this year. Peninsula Credit Union gives us 500 usually every year for concerts. So those were our only two sponsorships that we were able to get last year. Everybody wants sponsors, and so it's really hard when there's so many in the community buying for those dollars that are out there, and it's hard to get businesses to cough up more than what they know that they can do. Isn't that right, Bobby?
That's right.
Yeah, it's really hard. But we want to increase our bands, and we talked about even doubling up once in a while, because sometimes when we get a really nice day, we could start maybe a little bit earlier in the day with the band. Start at 5, go from 5 to 6:30, 6:30 or 7 to 8:30, and extend it a little bit. We've played with that idea, but nothing is in concrete. At this point, we're still sticking with the same schedule that we've had before, from 6:30 to 8 for the concerts. And we do get the zip codes from all the people that come. I'm sure we miss a few because the girls can't get everybody that comes, but we try. But we do have a brand new band coming this year, and I'm excited about that. Nice. Other than that, you know what we do, based on everything that you've read and that you've seen. What can I answer you? Any questions? How can I answer you?
How are you going to, if the carnival comes, is that going to be something?
The
that's
carnival,
gonna-
I've presented that to
I
the
know.
city council. It's supposed to be on the agenda. Is that still on the 25th, Brandy? Okay. It originally was planned to come on parade weekend. The 4th of July, the carnival is in Arlington. And when I met with Bob Merton last week, or the week before, he said, I have egg on my face. He said the owner in California did not realize that Arlington
had requested 2 weekends, so he gave them our parade weekend after Bob had already called us and said the carnival, we can come to Port Orchard. But what he offered to do instead was to come tear down in Arlington on the night of the 5th, move down here, and set up on the 6th. And I've already talked with Gary Anderson, who has the property for Wilkins, and Roger Jensen had okayed us to be on that property for a staging area for the carnival. And so we'll just see what the city council says. But and you had asked that question of what would that bring us? And I said between 5 and 7 maybe. And then after I got home, I thought, wow, it's only a 4-day show. So I'm not sure. Jesse, you might have some numbers.
I think that's probably a pretty good estimate.
Between 5 and 7?
Yeah.
There is going to be shared expenses that we will have with the carnival because we have to help pay for security, and we also have to help pay for porta potties that they also bring in. And so those are part of the expenses that we would share. So I would assume that would come off of whatever we net. But even at that, I won't snivel if we can net 3,000. I'm thrilled with netting 3,000 just to increase the fireworks show this year.
And cut down on the amount of calls that say, where's the carnival?
Where every Helene was just somewhere at an event,
Yeah.
and she said, someone came up to her and said, when's the carnival coming?
Mhm.
It's just unbelievable. And it's like, well, why don't you ask, when is the parade coming? We have that parade, and it's the most important parade in the county, my opinion anyway. So, especially our 50th parade. So that would be my answer to you on that carnival bit, because we don't know. Bob Burton, who is the Washington manager of Butler Amusements, really desires Port Orchard. He really wants to bring it to Port Orchard. Arlington has only signed a 1-year contract with them, and that's only for 2016. So he's very comfortable in fighting for us to bring it here for parade weekend in 2018 through the 4th of July. That's what his goal is to fight for us. I said, okay, that's up to him to do that. So now it's up to the city, but we've made our case, and that's all we can do, and it is what it is. So, any other questions I can answer?
We love Fanta. We love you.
Oh, you're so
Lovely.
sweet. You're so sweet.
You've done a great job.
Our board has done a great job. We
Yeah,
work
you have a
really
good
hard.
board.
Al has already driven up to Port Townsend and bought some new float pieces from them
I
because
wanted to ask you about the float.
we're celebrating our 50th, and it's 50 years rocking around the sound.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 50 years rocking around the sound. So Helene's already designed the button, and I didn't print it out, and we've got the cutest design for the dinghy derby. Oh, it is so cute. She's a real great graphic designer. But anyway, it is our 50th. Our buttons are being sent off. We'll finalize the design at the board meeting Thursday night, and then those will be sent off, and they'll be ready to go in December. We'll have those available for sale. And so we will hopefully market those all over town this year for our 50th. Yes. When you go to Port Townsend and other cities, you go in stores and they have their buttons. Daffodil the same way. You go over on the other side of the water and there's a board of daffodils pins. And that's what we really want to try and do, is to work with the vendors or the merchants to where they would just buy the board and they sell the buttons. They give us the cash right up front and we sell the buttons. But because it is our 50th, we're making every effort that we can to make it a big party for Port Orchard.
I have one idea for you.
Okay.
Just in passing, is maybe in addition to buttons, you consider magnets. You know, it's the same object.
Sure,
but
because it's a
magnet.
50th. Yeah.
Because I would put that on my fridge, but a button's in a drawer somewhere.
Right, exactly.
And you know,
Exactly.
our 125th, those magnets went really
They went
great.
really fast. And you
Yeah, they were
had over here by the chamber, they did them?
Yeah,
Is that who you had to them? Okay.
yeah. You mean fine arts?
That's a great idea. Fine arts
It
with
was.
yes,
It
that's a
was.
great
I put it
idea
on
for
my
us because I
fridge.
like that.
I put lots of stuff on my fridge, but the buttons don't get as much visibility. So.
Right, and I go, whenever I travel, I pick up magnets. I like, my Disneyland magnet is like that long. Yeah, because that's what I wanted. But I like that idea. Thank you. I will work on that at the board meeting.
And real quick, what is the dinghy?
A dinghy derby is a race in the water, and you have to build it yourself, no more than 7 allowed on it, and it has to be,
Float.
it cannot be on an existing derby frame. You can make it out of foam, you can make it out of milk cartons, you can
that's
make it
what-
out
okay, I've
of
seen
boards
those.
that float,
Oh.
whatever it is.
Hilarious.
And we've got 6 different prizes to give out, the ugliest, the best looking, the best crew. I don't remember what all we came up with, but we came up with 6 prizes for it. So we're really going to challenge all the service clubs, all the real estate offices, the businesses, the city,
Uh-oh.
and I think I even challenged the county when we were out there because
We could go for the ugliest one.
no, the city needs to do one that's replica of your building. That would look really classy out there on the water.
Until it
I-
sank.
I have some pictures of a prior dinghy derby that was here years ago, and they're done in sepia-tone colors, so they're not in color. But they were just pretty phenomenal, and one of them was titled Preparation Age.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know
That would
how
be
they built
fun.
it, but they were really cute, and we think that the dinghy derby will be a great attraction. We've just got to market it right and advertise it right.
Yeah.
And of course, advertising it is the name of the game. Another way of advertising that Fathoms does in everything we do is through A&W. We take up our flyers and they put them on all the food trays. They are so good to do that for us.
Yeah.
In fact, I just dropped off 1,000 a day for Seroptimist up there, so they'll start advertising our big craft show coming up.
They put out at least 300 a weekend. It's amazing how many they put
They
out.
do.
Wow.
They really put them out for us. So they're very, very good. All of our events were attended well, except for the Pirates Rendezvous being Memorial Day weekend. It was a horrible, icky, rainy weekend. It wasn't the greatest weekend. But other than that, our fireworks is always attended well. Festival by the Bay at the cruise with the cruise guys, that was just well attended. Chocolate Festival, I'll just share with you right quick. We postponed the 2016 Chocolate Festival to September next year because Seattle moved their Chocolate Festival to our weekend. And there was no way that we could compete with the Seattle Chocolate Festival, so we had to scratch that for 2016. It was too hard. And Lena Price, who is with Air Masters, is on board as our vendor guru to get them, and she's already contacted all the chocolatiers and sent them the new application. We already have the new application done. It's out in their hands. And we're getting responses, yes, I want to come, I want to come, I want to come. So hopefully we'll have a good attendance there. We've got the Town Square reserved for the Chocolate Festival. My next goal is to see if they will allow us to have wine vendors in so we could do a wine and chocolate venue or show with wine vendors, is that what they're called?
Close enough.
Close enough, okay. And I know that you cannot have a party up there with alcohol. That's totally taboo. You can't.
Why, that's something new?
It's Grace, yeah, you can't, because when Seroptimist just did our bunko thing up there, we could not allow any kind of wine in there.
Where's that at?
Whatsoever to drink.
Town Square.
Oh, Town Square.
Town Square.
Got it. Okay.
Town Square. They wouldn't let us do that. And so at this point, that's the only venue that we have that we could hold it in, and I don't want to take it across the water. I want to keep it in South Kitsap. We want to keep everything
Thank
in
you
South
for keeping it in
Kitsap.
Port
I just,
Thank
we
you.
just need a venue. So
Yeah.
if there's no other questions, I'll let you try and get caught up with the rest of your crew tonight.
Thank you.
so
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
Love your enthusiasm.
Well, you've got to have enthusiasm
Oh, we have that.
because you got to keep it going.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sharon.
Okay. Have a nice evening, folks.
Thank you.
everyone.
Hi, Sheila.
I don't think we've met. I'm Sheila.
Actually, that's my name's Chan.
Nice to meet you. I think I know everyone else. Okay.
Jan has. Good energy.
Comfort in. Comfort in. Okay. So, anyone have any questions about mine? I think mine's pretty straightforward.
Do you want to introduce it, like what date it is, and which is it the 10th anniversary or the what?
No, this is the 6th,
Okay.
and it's Saturday, December 3rd. And we haven't really made any changes to the actual event itself. We are looking to add, I'm researching, I just started today, snow machines. I know, you giggle. Well, the Seattle Jingle Bell Run is doing that, and they're hoping to really get a good response from that. I mean, if you can imagine, I don't know if you've seen anyone's pictures from like the bubble run that they have. I participated in that with a friend, and at the very end, you know, you come down through the bubbles and they catch your picture, you know, so it's just kind of a fun thing. So we're envisioning, you know, people coming across the finish line and having snow being, you know, thrown out into the air, you know, by the big snow machines. And so that's something that I'm trying to work on to add to the event itself. So, but I don't know how much it's going to cost. So that always comes down to, you know, money. So.
I'm just glad to see you at this table, lady. Just been around for a couple of years to do this.
Have you applied before?
I did
Okay.
apply last year.
Okay,
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
remember,
So
okay.
yes, I finally
Okay.
last year I did. So
Because I know the first few years of your event you did.
no,
Okay.
no,
No, she
we did
didn't.
not. Even though I was, you know,
Okay.
it was strongly suggested to me. I did not. But last year I did, and we appreciated that. And this year, what we have done with the money that was allotted for us was. I placed an ad in Outdoors Northwest magazine with Carolyn, and then we're doing ads up in the Olympic Peninsula area with the what's the name of that? Peninsula, whatever that newspaper is, the main one up over on the Olympic Peninsula. Forgive me, I forget the
Well, the
name
Peninsula
of it.
Daily News.
I think so. I think that's what it is.
That's the Port Angeles paper.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and I actually even went.
Does that get Port Townsend too?
There's a leader in, but it does go down to Port Townsend. They
Yeah,
sell it
I think it's
there.
mainly Port Angeles Squim, but it kind of covers that whole area.
But they sell it in Port Townsend. It's pretty
Yeah.
popular there too.
And I just did a little road trip last week, and I went out to Forks and put up flyers everywhere and took rack cards and talked to the chamber, and I went to the community center that they have and just talked to as many people as I possibly could, went to their medical center that they have there, and not only talked about the Jingle Bell Run, which that was my purpose, but I also talked about the Arthritis Foundation, trying to make a connection on the Olympic Peninsula, because the Arthritis Foundation themselves don't really, our mission person has not really reached out to that part of the state for whatever reason, so I kind of took that upon myself.
And thank you for doing that. Forks always gets left out of things.
Yeah, well, it's very small.
Yeah, I know. I've been out there lots of times.
There's really nothing there. I was like, whoa.
It's an
I
awesome
forgot.
community, though.
Well, I had been through Forks before, but I forgot how small it is, you know. But they were very friendly. They were very welcoming, and which was wonderful. And the ladies at the chamber told me, oh, you need to go here and here, and you could put flyers there, and they'll, you know. So I did. And then I stopped at Port Angeles and went to their chamber and left rack cards and took flyers to many places. I spoke to the hospital there and another medical center there, again, about the Arthritis Foundation. And of course, in the packet, I put Jingle Bell Run information. And the hospital was like, oh my word, this is so exciting. And they were like, we know where we're going to put the flyer. We're going to put it in our staff room, you know. And so, I mean, there was excitement about the event itself. And then, of course, I stopped at Squim and Port Townsend. So that was an interesting journey to try to. I'm a very face-to-face person. You know, putting ads in a newspaper is one thing, but actually getting out there and meeting people, when making a personal connection, then I can follow up with phone calls and emails. So
Well, I would like to tell you that I did my part in promoting through law enforcement a few years ago when I was supposed to be out of town and I was scheduled to be in the run in my elf costume. And so coming out of the hotel, I was running late, and because I had to be there, and I am in my elf costume, and I got pulled over for speeding. I think I got questioned as to where I was going, what I was doing, and I want to say that I think it's because of the Jingle Ball Run Arthritis Foundation that I did not get a ticket.
Oh, good. I'm glad we can help.
I promoted as much as I could through law enforcement, and it worked to my benefit.
So that officer's probably still telling that story.
It'll never leave.
Yeah, did you give her a breathalyzer?
I had everything with the shoes on because I was ready to go. Yeah.
But so my goal for next year is to then go the opposite direction and go south and hit that area, out past Olympia and try to pull up those people from down there. I mean, Seattle pulls so many people. I mean, Seattle's huge, they pull from, north of Seattle out west, but there's not many people from down south that participate in the Seattle Jingle Ball Run. So I thought, well, if I could hit the Olympic Peninsula and then down south past Olympia in that area next year's, that's my plan. So.
Does Tacoma have a run?
No, not with us. There is something, I think they have like a turkey trot around the Thanksgiving time, but they don't have the Jingle Ball Run. I did find out that Gig Harbor Route 16 started a Jingle Bell Run kind of event. It's the following weekend. It's after hours. So we'll see how that goes over. I was a little disappointed because I was going to go to Route 16 and have them be a registration site for us. Just like I went up to Poulsbo Running here a couple of weeks ago, and they are a registration site for us. And they are happy to help. Again, trying to pull people from the north end of the Kitsap County. So yeah, when I saw that Route 16 started their own Jingle Bell-ish, I think they're calling it the Grinch Run, and it's a weekend after hours. So.
And are they fundraising for?
Route 16.
You don't know.
I don't know who the money is going for. They're the ones that do, the what's it called, the Yukon Harbor. So we'll see. We'll see how that event
I think
goes
the
over.
peninsula is a really good choice because I remember being in Port Townsend and some of them considered their nearest center to be Silverdale.
Yeah.
I mean, I was shocked. I go to Port Townsend because I think it's great, and they're talking about, I have to go to Silverdale. I'm going, really? Yeah. Silverdale? but I think there are things that we have here in Kitsap that they really don't.
Right.
So they go shopping in Silverdale.
I know. I'm just a little horrified. It's like, you're going there?
Oh, well,
That's it for 'em.
One of our previous honorees was from the Port Ludlow area, so that helps a little bit draw some people from that particular area. But so I don't know. We'll see if my travels, pay off, and if we get any more this year from that, and then also from the advertising. I think Outdoors Northwest will help. And what I did is the ad that I had our marketing department create, I actually put a code on there so that we can track. So because if they use that discount code, they save $5 on the registration fee, and I can track and see how many registrations use that discount code. And the same thing with the Peninsula newspaper. It will have a code, so we know exactly how many people use that code and registered. So that's really nice for us that we can track like that. And then of course we always have our, I can run the report that shows the zip codes.
How many runners do you have?
Pardon me?
How many runners? How many participants?
Last year we had 1420.
1,420? Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, Sheila, that's fabulous.
Yeah, so I was really hoping this year that we'd be closer to 1,700. I'm really trying to eventually get to that $2,000 or 2,000 participant number and $100,000 raised. I really thought we would have been there by now, but we haven't done it. I had high hopes, Fred.
Just skip 2,000. Just say you want 5,000. 5,000.
Thank you for actually tracking it. Most
Yeah.
people can't tell you what they
Yeah.
or what they're, and
Well, we
then
have all
follow.
kinds of reports that we can run.
Yeah.
So that's the nice part about our website is we do have that, option to run all kinds of different reports. So
Do you have flyers or brochures yet?
yeah, I do. I have rat cards.
Can
Yeah.
What is a rat card? I've
Oh,
heard that
it's-
a lot.
It's like this, but it's only front and back.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
but
doesn't-
that
it doesn't
size?
open up. Yeah, it's this
Okay.
size.
It's a card.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't open up. It's just front and back.
front and back? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, thank you.
So.
And
And
I'll
outdoors.
put them in my,
Oh, okay.
because I get quite a few people from Seattle and that. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
easier if I can hand it to them. Yeah.
Outdoors Northwest, I actually sent Carolyn some, and she's going to distribute them for us to when they take out their magazines. She's going to distribute our rat cards for us. So I thought that was nice of her to offer to do
You've
that.
got great participation and
Yeah.
support from others.
Yeah, we really do. It's really nice.
When will we get our little Christmas bells?
Oh, the ones that you can collect donations for?
I love that.
I will get those to you anytime.
Please
Bobby.
do.
Okay.
I had
Okay.
them all over my shop.
Okay. Yeah, I can bring those to you tomorrow if you'd like.
It's $1. And
Yeah,
then,
I'll
It's-
take some.
Okay.
yeah, and then we put their name on it, put it up on the wall. It's a good one.
I'll just take the donations.
It's
I
a
can
good-
take the I want to give you the money.
Okay.
We'll keep it really simple, but
It's a good, well,
get in the
it's
spirit early.
And the other thing, last year, I believe we were talking about this in the Chimes and Lights meeting. Last year, I think the only link that we really did on the website was to Chimes and Lights. But this year, I really, and this doesn't really have anything to do with LTAC really, but I want to make sure that that there are links to every single thing that's going on that day. So whether it's not just Chimes and Lights, but it's the Dragonfly and the library and everything else. If the Humane Society takes over Pooch and Purr, have a link for theirs, and whatever, if the Sydney Gallery is doing something special.
You've got pictures with Santa that.
Okay.
That's
I
the
just want to
first
make
weekend.
sure, that every single possible link that can be on there is on there this year. That got a little overlooked last year. I think the only one was Chimes and Lights. And I realize that Chimes and Lights doesn't necessarily have, they have a lot of information on there,
But not links.
but not links,
Yeah.
right? And that's the thing that I can do. I can put links on the website, so.
I think the candy store will
Okay.
want to be on there.
Okay.
She does
Remind
so much.
us and we'll link
Okay,
to you from Sydney and from Thompson. And explore Peru.
okay. All right, and that's the other thing.
I'll make a note of that now, but remind me because I
Okay.
will forget.
Okay, Outdoors Northwest did a posting on their Facebook page, which I thought was nice of them. Facebook is so wonderful because, it's basically,
Do you do
Free.
Facebook boosts? Has that helped you any? Or?
I am no longer in control of our Facebook page.
Oh, that's the Seattle area. Or?
Well, it's now all done. It's very unfortunate because I feel like we've lost possibly some Facebook users. But it has been taken over by our national office in Atlanta. And instead of having a separate Facebook page for our event, there is now an Arthritis Foundation of Washington page.
Oh.
And then they created an event on that page. And there are not very many followers. I've really been trying to get our committee to push the event. In order to see what I post in the event, you have to either have liked the event or clicked on interested, how all of that works.
So you can't just do your own. Or
I
you're not allowed
can't,
to. or-
I'm not really allowed to. I have to submit, like today I requested a post to be done on the Arthritis Foundation Washington page to announce our medical honoree. And they have to approve that, and then they create it, and then they post it. And so it's more of a process now, where it used to, I know, I know. Well, I think what has happened is there were people that were not being, using proper grammar and spell check, and they were making posts that weren't always necessarily appropriate. You know what I mean? Not that I would ever do that, but I think there were people in other regions that were making Facebook posts that were not always appropriate, or the national office did not see it as appropriate. So that got taken away, and now everything we have to submit everything. So,
Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, thank you, Sheila.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Does anyone have any questions or?
I think it was really clear. Thank you.
Okay, I thought it was too.
Yeah,
So
you did.
I didn't bring anything with me because I didn't think I would need anything.
You could have
so.
brought a bell.
I could have. I should have brought everyone a jingle bell. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much,
appreciate it.
Sheila.
It was very nice to meet you. And I'll put a link, because we're trying to get people to stay over too, so I'll put a link for coming. Okay,
Should
but
we have Matt go next?
Yeah,
Thank
man,
you.
it's fun because
Okay.
he's here, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing.
Is he gonna do all three of them?
He's gonna do all three, so he's not gonna need 15 minutes for each, he said.
That's good.
Sorry our time's been a little late, but maybe, I keep hoping we're gonna catch up.
He talks
We'll
fast.
see.
We'll probably catch up.
No.
Talk
We're
fast.
not gonna talk that fast.
You gotta talk fast enough.
I heard what the agenda is, and I have until what, 7?
He's
Something,
gonna
so-
talk right when he pops up.
So I know that.
Somebody said that for every extra minute over 15.
But I got 3 things I'm talking about. You see, that's the thing is that when
We
Chris
can't
told me
wait.
Chris told me the agenda, and everybody after me is already in this room. So it's like the faster I talk, the faster everybody gets out of here. So.
So you get more points, you get
So
extra
the better
points.
question is, how much is it worth to you for me to talk?
That's what
quickly.
you get more points the faster you talk.
Which one would you like to do?
Who are you first?
Well, let's see, who am I? Let's start with the Seagull Calling Festival. So Bobby, my name is Matt. I'm with the Port Orchard Chamber of Commerce.
I'm your vice president. Behave.
Well, then you already know who I am. So we're going into, I believe it's our 29th year of the Seagull Calling Festival. I think we're heading into our 8th year of the Wings Cook-Off, which is it's just continuing to grow. I wish that we could put our order in for decent weather far enough in advance to assure that that happened. So what I am, so what the Seagull Calling Contest and the Seagull Wings Cook-Off boils down to is it's part of the Harbor Festival, which was started by the Port a few years ago. Port decided they couldn't support it anymore, and the Harbor Festival was turned over to Holly James and the Entrepreneurial Center or something like that, and we continue to work on this side with the Seagull Calling Festival and the Pirates Rendezvous and Seagull Splat Run, which I understand they are going to be moving to June this year in an effort to get off the 3-day weekend. But we have renewed our pledge to the Kitsap Harbor Festival and the Port of Bremerton to make a go of this on the hit and miss weekend of Memorial Day. It starts out in the morning with the Seagull Calling, the Seagull Wing Cook-Off. So about that time of the year, you'll notice a lot of lame seagulls running around because we serve typically 2,000 to 2,500 seagull wings, which are really a pain in the keister to harvest, but somehow or another we managed to pull it off. Typically we have 10 restaurants. We're always trying to get more restaurants involved, and so we will continue to push that. It brings in thousands of people. As you can imagine, the actual numbers is hard to pin down. This last year, we were awarded $2,000 also, and I brought a couple sets of our ads and the advertising that we ran. The funds that we get from the LTAC primarily goes to our advertising, and our advertising, while it is in the Kitsap newspaper group, or Kitsap Sun and Sound Publishing, a lot of the stuff that we do is is online. So what they've basically done is they've said, if you buy this online advertising, we'll give you additional print advertising. So in the Kitsap Sun, and they're labeled, so let's start with the Sun Publishing. Kitsap Weekly, we had a full page in the Kitsap Weekly, 60,000 distribution. We focused in after visiting with Kathy from the marina, what we were trying to do is we wanted to focus more on the Tacoma, Pierce County, in that general area. One of the newspapers that belongs, that's my notice to be here. One of the newspapers that belong to their group is the Federal Way Mirror. It has a circulation of 29,600. We had 2 weeks we ran ads in that. The Kitsap Military Times distribution of 9,000 we ran in it. The websites, we had a full month, the entire month of May we ran banner ads in that with an average monthly users of 135,000 people, 333,000 page views. So, we really stretched. We tried to pull that as much as possible. We paid $1,500 for that advertising. The market value of that advertising was $4,320. When we turn around the Kitsap Sun, we targeted the Gig Harbor and Tacoma markets for that. We targeted foodies, those seeking outdoor activities, family activities, things like that. We had 65,000 impressions on the Kitsap Sun and their affiliate. They're part of, are they part of Hearst? I can't remember now. A big chain. In addition to the Kitsap Sun A&E entertainment section of the 55,000 distribution for 3 weekends in May. Each Friday it ran Kitsap Sun, the Bainbridge Islander, the Gig Harbor Life, and the Kitsap Mason County Life. Cost to us on that one was $500. The total campaign value on that one was over $1,300. So what we try to do is we have the logistics down pat here in town as to what we need to do, the banner, the permits, things like that. We've tried to take these dollars and push them as far as we can, stretch them to bring in as many people from outside of the area as possible in. That is it's about all I can say. We sold, we have, like I said, we did about $1,300 in wing sales last year, $1,300. So this difference here, the $2,000 that we asked for here kind of makes up the difference on that for our total spend for the year. Any questions on the Seagull Calling Festival? Wings Cook Off.
So would you say it brought 5,000 people last year, or?
Not, last year I don't know that I could say that it did because the weather didn't cooperate. And one of the things that we're doing this year is we are working a lot closer with the Harbor Festival folks. They're, I don't know if you guys know who Holly is, but she has some plans, bring some more additional entertainment into town. I think they're going to take over the responsibility for bringing the vendors in and stuff like that. So, it's always a crapshoot with the weather, and that's our main. I think that's who we're competing with when you deal with a festival like this in May.
Mm-hmm.
So, questions?
And so the Seagull, and this is going to show my lack of knowledge here, but the Seagull Calling Contest is a part of Fathoms of Fun.
Nope.
No, it is separate.
No.
Oh, it's
No.
separate.
No, it's the Chamber's had it forever and has been reluctant to let go of that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. And we did, honestly, with Fathoms, moved it to the second week in June, I think. It's booking up June pretty good. We actually toyed with the idea of moving it.
And you did, your predecessors
Mhm.
did offer it at one time to Fathoms, and you
Yeah.
turned it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did, do you know, once you added the cook-off,
Mm-hmm.
what year that was? Do you know?
I think we're headed into the 9th year.
Okay, sounds about right, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because it used to just be, just 4 judges and people out calling seagulls and
Yeah.
adding the cook-off was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, the calling portion of itself is highly entertaining, but it really, when you give everybody, we get 20-ish, depending on their contestants, from little ones to big ones that are acting uber goofy. It really lasts about half an hour, 45 minutes, and then we do the awards, and maybe we're an hour into it, and at that point, everybody goes back out to the vendors or visits the streets of Port Orchard. So,
Nice.
yeah, yep.
Ta-da!
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So then, let's talk about the what I have labeled tourism visitor services. And I have a correction to make on this one. So I've got down here $11,432.61. It's actually $10,000. I don't know how. Could you guys can just take that away from me anyways, and we'll just call it the wash. Yeah, that was me adding in an extra $1,000 just for the heck of it. When I went back through and reviewed my numbers today, I don't know how I came up with the 11,000 because I only came up with 10. So that should be 10. And what this boils down to is that traditionally, across the nation, Chambers of Commerce, we field a bazillion telephone calls from people saying, I'm coming into town next month, next week, next year, and can you send me information? My sister's getting married, my nephew's getting married, whoever it is getting married, or I'm going to get stationed there in a couple of years, and so I want to come and check it out. We get all of those telephone calls. We get during the summer, a lot of people just stopping by. It's amazing. Taking into consideration our location isn't a walk-in friendly location. We're not right on the main drag. We still get a ton of people that come by and ask for information. If you've been to our office, we have an entire wall of brochures from all over the place. We start with Port Orchard, Kitsap County, and we work our way all the way over. We've got stuff from Eastern Washington, from Oregon.
Montana.
We have some stuff from Montana. So we do have a variety of things going on. But we always start right there in the front row. We've got our Port Orchard brochures, the #1 brochure, and our Bay Street Association's brochure. The walking map is the second brochure that we have listed right there. So we really try to push the things to do in the area. People ask us what there is to do. We've got the Atlantic Gardens, we've got Manchester, we've got the museum, we've got the parks in the area. So we do have, and that's the thing that we try to do is stress that there are a lot of things to do right here. You don't have to go out of the area or the stuff that's right across the pond. You can park downtown and visit a lot of things right from here. So what our ask is basically traditionally, and I have no idea, so don't ask me how these numbers were originally generated. We do, so what we basically charge the city through LTAC is 20% of our telephone bill, which is like this $99, $98, so it costs basically $20 a month that we charge to the city for phone service, a portion of our internet, the website, which I've got. We'll jump ahead because I have that in this other packet. Here is the statistics from both of the websites that the chamber manages. I gotta keep going, last time I didn't. So on the left-hand side of this page is the Port Orchard Chamber of Commerce website, portorchard.com. We were fortunate enough to apparently secure that long enough ago. And in the last 12 months, and actually this is actually dated the end of last month because I used this for a different presentation. We had 126,000 hits on the portorchard.com website. A portion of the LTAC funds go to pay for the left-hand side here, the Port Orchard Chamber of Commerce website. And you can see that I've listed the top 10 places that people visit from. I've got the full list. It's long, but you can see 17,000 people from the Seattle area, and then it kind of goes out from there. Down below, you can see how many 75% of the people that have visited the website are from within Washington. 51% of the people are from outside of the Olympic Peninsula or the I-5 corridor. So basically, the way I came up with that number is I went down the list and I just started deleting. You know, if it said Tacoma, if it said Parkland, I would delete those numbers to come up with the, so I'm sure I missed something like Edgewood, you know, when I came through and deleted them. But approximately 51% of the people are from outside the Olympic Peninsula, the I-5 area, and then 25% of the people, I can hit that one pretty close, is 25% of the people came from outside of Washington State that visited the portorchard.com website. Right-hand side of the screen, page, I don't pay any attention to that. I see your eyes wandering. Jesse, don't do that. We'll talk about that next. That's on the next. I guess I could have folded them all in two and said, only look at this side. So a portion of these proceeds from the tourism visitor services go to pay for this also, pays for postage for our shipping of all the packages and stuff out, pays for some of our copier services for printing the stuff that we do. Any questions on this?
Back here, you've got funding from the county. Is that
Right.
correct for here?
Huh?
Is it correct for the chamber?
Well, okay, so the funding from so this is where, save that question.
Okay.
Save that question, because that kind of dovetails into the next piece. Any questions?
So your ask this time is staff, telephone, copier,
Website,
website.
website, phones, copier, postage, supplies, staff time. Yes,
Is this one where you're asking for 11,432? Okay.
but it's 10,000 now.
Yeah, I've changed
I'll
that.
save you 1,000.
Yeah, just
I'll save.
want to make sure I'm doing this in the right
Yeah,
order.
I know.
It's hard for me to keep my mouth shut
Why?
She's on the
because
board.
I can't.
You can't. You
I know.
you can have no opinion.
It is hard. I just,
Bite hard, Mom.
It's okay. You won't get to vote either, so it's.
Yeah. This is your chance, Bobby.
Yeah.
good presentation, that's all I want to say.
Does this next one sort of deal with membership?
None of these have to do anything to do with
Okay,
membership.
So what is the membership at now?
Our membership at the chamber is about 320. It seems to stay, since I took over in 2 years ago now, 2014, you know, we've gained a few, we lose a few, we gain a few, we lose a few. So we stayed around the 300 plus or minus for the last couple of years.
Do you know what you average at your monthly luncheons?
Right now, these last 2 weeks have been down, the last 2 months, excuse me. We had 65 at the last month, and I think we've been running about 80. I think the last two subjects were kind of boring. Candidates forum, the fast fare, who cares about those types of things, you know? So yeah. So
Do
we
you ever
don't.
have somebody come and talk on the other side of the fast ferry? 'Cause I know
We
you know
tried. We tried. I did actually send an email to former Mayor Mathis, because I know that he's got. This is totally off the subject. He has concrete reasons to be against it, versus most people, their argument against it is, I don't want to pay the money. But I think, you know, but I tried. I did. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Are we?
I'm waiting for everybody to shift piles of paper.
We're ready. Ready.
All right, we're shifting piles of paper. We are shifting piles of paper to the tourism marketing services. To give you some background on this, The organization Explore Port Orchard was created before my time. I don't know, probably back in 2013, 14, somewhere in that vicinity. And what it was, it had been determined at that point, everybody and their brother was kind of doing their own thing. Everybody was buying ads in here, big and small. Different organizations might be buying ads in here. And somebody had the brainchild of let's get together and endeavor to use our money as wisely as possible. Rather than everybody putting little ads all over the place, let's get together and try to form a bigger one. That being the goal, and I'm going to try to rattle these off here, the Port Orchard Bay Street Association, the Sydney Arts Gallery and Museum, whatever their acronym is, Fathoms of Fun, the Port, the city to a certain degree, and is that everybody?
Visit Kitsap.
Visit Kitsap. It all kind of got together and said, hey, let's put our heads together, form a rock pile, and do as much as we can together. So that organization was formed. They filed for nonprofit status, got the corporation, nonprofit corporation and things like that. The snag we ran into after I came on board is the fact that most things, we needed to have a bank account, which is the reason why the corporation side of things was formed. It was determined that a lot of these things we have to do requires the money up front. Okay, and for some unknown reason, the fearless leader at the time, Ms. Stansberry, didn't want to put everything on her credit card. Although she put a lot of things on her credit card, and ended up getting reimbursed for those things. And so last year it was decided that, because the chamber has the funds to front, so to speak, these expenses, the ad that ran in the Discover Kitsap's a $3,600 ad, we had the wherewithal to fund those things, which was the major kicker in that Explore Port Orchard organization coming back in under the auspices of the Chamber of Commerce. And so that's what we did last year. So this is our first year that we've kind of done this. The Chamber of Commerce / Explore Port Orchard, we have gotten, we applied to the county for LTAC funds. We received $3,000 worth of funds from the LTAC. So on the back side of one of the applications, did I put it on?
It's on both.
It's on both, okay. It's got we asked for 9, we got 3. What we asked for originally was to fund this. So there's this publication here. We are currently distributing through 2 ferries. Okay, we're on 2 of the ferry runs and the I-5 corridor. Okay, from not SeaTac. SeaTac is an area that we want to add. So it runs from just south of SeaTac down through Thurston County. Okay, so it's that piece right there. Part of our philosophy on that is that people are going to take the ferry over. They're going to land in Bremerton, or they're going to land in Kingston, or they're going to land on Bainbridge Island. So we want to get the people that are driving over. We want to hit them coming over the bridge as opposed to taking the ferry. We do have them on 2 of the ferry runs, which is something that, depending upon funding, we're going to take a look at this year. We're actually looking at including the actual SeaTac area, more up in there with all those hotels and stuff like that, up in that area. So we asked for 9, which would have paid the distribution part of this piece. We ended up with 3. So that's why it's on there. The balance is in our proposal. Plus this year we're reprinting these. Then the last, 9, 10, 11-ish months or so, we've distributed over 37,000 of these. We originally printed 40 or 50? 40. And we got the word that they just sent out the last case. So we are in the process of making the changes to it, and we should be reprinting, I'd say, within the next week or 2. So part of that is in there. So that's, that is kind of our major effort. I mean, that's where the lion's share, because when you take into consideration both pieces, that's almost $12,000 of our request. If for some reason we do get cut, that's when we stop and we take a look at, we back off, maybe we go seasonally, don't know, what we can do there. The other portions that we've done is, so right now we do have the inside the back page of the Discover Kitsap. Like I said, that's a $3,600 piece that we do. It's a nice looking piece. And again, in an effort to consolidate, you'll find everybody's schedule of events on here, with the exception of Fathoms, because they have so many events. We can't, because they're doing so much. They still do their own piece. Plus they do, thank you to the sponsor, Wave Cable, for the fireworks and things like that. We also have, and we've got a full page in, this piece here, Destination Washington, is put out and it's mainly distributed in Eastern Washington. We've got a full page in here. We actually only pay for the bottom half of the page, and we bribed or bullied them into giving us editorial for the top portion of it. And again, it talks about everything that goes on in the area. We've got the Seagull Calling Festival, we've got the Old-Fashioned Family Fun Day, the fireworks, scavenger hunts, Dead Men Tell No Tales, Taste Port Orchard. So it involves a little bit of the different organizations in the area. Bluegrass is on here. The kind of the difference between the efforts of the Explore Port Orchard side of things and the Chamber of Commerce side of things is that the Chamber of Commerce side, as far as tourism is concerned, there isn't anything. We really try to transcend those membership boundaries. Okay, they'll all have bluegrass, things like that, Atlantic Gardens. They're tourist activities. They're not members, but they're still things that we try to push in an effort to bring everybody into town and keep them here as long as possible. That being said, that's the other side of this picture right here, the Explore Port Orchard website. Numbers here aren't, this is a continuous work in progress, work in progress, yeah. What it is, if you go on and if you looked at it, there's links, because what we're trying to do is upload all the parks, all the places there are to fish. There's an events calendar that I have somebody in our office that goes through and checks on a regular basis. They'll go ahead and, they search the Macaroni Kids website, they might search the POPSA website, the library website, and list the different activities and things there are to do in South Kitsap. Statistics on here are, interestingly enough, they're almost opposite the other side. 45% of the people that visited are from inside Washington, 50% are outside of the Olympic Peninsula, 65% are people that have visited the 10,000-ish hits are from outside of Washington State. So it is something that we are continuing to grow, being a continuous work in progress. If anybody has any content they want to add to this page, if they've already written something, give it to us. We'll gladly add that in. It saves us from having to reinvent the wheel every time. And actually, I brought these two. So here, you guys can all have one of those.
Thank you.
Things that we have planned for this upcoming year. It includes radio advertising, Facebook. It's amazing. For better or for worse, Facebook is a very popular means of communication. We have a Facebook page. Explore Port Orchard has a Facebook page. It always has new things being added to it. The $1,000 that you see I put on, not that it matters, the additional $1,000 on here, there's the boater's map. It's a boater's guide that we're going to try to do. Trying to get the port to fund that one. The port comes through on that one. That'll be one that we don't have to deal with, but it's not taken into consideration on here. We belong to the Visit Seattle, Washington Tourism Alliance. So that's about all I have to say on this, I think. Any questions?
So I just have a question
Mhm.
on, in the paragraph, describe how you will promote your project. And and it states here that with the exception of some targeted radio, much of the promotion conducted is for the region and not event
Right.
specific.
Mhm. Right. And that, that goes back to, both of these. It's all the things that are going on in the area as opposed to, say, just the parade. As a specific event, we don't do, we don't take an ad out to advertise Taste of Port Orchard, things like that. All the stuff that Explore Port Orchard does is, as many events as we can squeeze into. Because here we've got all the different events going on in here. There are different events, all for South Kitsap and Port Orchard.
And so it wouldn't make sense to use like the Kitsap Sun electronic distribution, because you want somebody to be able to pick up and take
Not
something.
necessarily, because because we do have, we've earmarked some funds to experiment with things, even things like AdWords. Okay, Google AdWords. If somebody was, looking at things to do Memorial Day weekend, Olympic Peninsula Memorial Day weekend, if there was a really good, this is going to depending on funding, could be an experimental year for us on the online stuff. With things like banner advertising, I don't know how familiar you are with that, like, a 2% impression or a 2% click-through rate is good. We have 65,000 impressions and a 2%, which translates into what, 300 or something like that, and you might think, holy crap, how much for what? That's where we haven't figured out the right niche as far as Google AdWords, boosting Facebook posts. That's worked really well for the chamber in our events. I boosted the tall ships when they were in town. I spent $40, $50 to boost that. I had a reach of 8,000 people. And it's like, and what the reach means on Facebook is that means somebody engaged with it. They clicked on it, they liked it, they shared it. And I think we had 40 or 45, 50 shares, which means if everybody here shared it, all of your friends would see it. The next thing you know, it really grows. And so figuring out, that is one that we are confident, Facebook is one that we're confident that we can use. But the other things like Google or, we never really played with Twitter or anything like that. So as far as, if we were to do banner advertising, there are things like the, Destination Washington has, it's kind of like, it's the Washington State version of Visit Kitsap. And so we can get, by belonging to that organization, we have an opportunity to get reduced banner advertising rates on that. Which, by the way, to touch on the Visit Kitsap, I'm sorry, did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, on the Visit Kitsap side of things, I've got to tell you that I think this last year, we've made some tremendous inroads in working with Visit Kitsap. Patty has helped us. We've helped her. We've for some of the things we've worked on, like for example the ALPA fly-in, the Home and Recreation Expo, the Obliteride. We're kind of her labor force. We're her slave labor. She signs up for these things and then she calls us, and we've managed to work with her on that and help staff some of the projects that she's got going on too. So I'm really looking forward to furthering that relationship too.
That's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
I got another half hour.
You don't, you arrived exactly on time.
No, I'm not, I was 6:45.
No, you started at 6:15, you
Oh, I
were
know.
late.
Huh? No, she changed it.
No,
You
no,
changed
no,
it.
no, yeah, but
Huh?
we changed it back.
We change it back.
We changed
Nobody
it,
told me.
but that's when you started, so we changed it back, so you actually arrived exactly on time.
Didn't work out well.
Well, fine.
We're back on track, you get extra points.
Hmm?
You get extra points.
I
We're
get
back-
extra points?
We're back
Okay.
on track.
I do have a question. You said something about you're partnering with the Visit Kids app, but
Mhm.
some of the work is coming out of the chamber office, or you're,
So what we, Patty's a one-man show, or a one-person show, I guess.
oh, is there not? I thought there were other people in that office.
No, not in Patty's
Oh,
operation, no.
I didn't
I think she's got one other guy, Mike, somebody,
He's on the board.
yeah, that helps her out quite a bit, because I've gotten together with him on things. So what we've basically done, when we did the Obliteride was a Fred Hutch Cancers Association ride that came through. We manned the rest stop. So she sponsored the rest stop at the fire station here off of Glenwood Road, and we did all the grunt work, and we had almost 300 bike riders come through. They started in Seattle, came across from the ferry. We were at the 49 mile mark, and I swear it was one of the hottest days of the year when they came through. I couldn't even imagine going another 49 miles, because we were on the 85 and the 100 mile route, and so the 100 mile, they all ended up in downtown Seattle, but when they got over the Narrows Bridge, the 85 mile people, I think, went straight towards that direction, and the 100 mile people went down through Lakewood and wound back up.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
You bet.
Thank you, Nat.
You bet.
you, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, does anyone need a brief break for the bathroom or anything?
Just
A 2-minute break?
Just even
Cookie
stand
and
up and.
Take a break, please.
Okay, we'll do Portraiture Basement Association first. I'm Christine Stansberry, I'm the treasurer for the association. Portraiture Basement Association is a membership association of the businesses from downtown, it's various outlying entities, and we put on a number of events which we're asking to be funded, including the Taste of Port Orchard, a flower festival, participation with Chimes and Lights, Ladies Night Out. We're also asking for funding for the website, and then for some print advertising. And also for a new event this coming year, we want to do an antique show, a big antique show downtown, and advertise on PBS. So we have some numbers to do some advertising on the local PBS for the antique show, which we think will be a lot of fun. We'll bring people from Seattle, all
You're talking next year.
I'm sorry?
You're talking next year.
Next year.
2017.
Yeah, 2017.
And you know what month?
We do not yet, but we're thinking, what are we thinking, Bobby?
Can I speak?
Yeah, you can speak here
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you're also part of this presentation.
Oh, good. Well, we were thinking during the Chris Craft.
During Christmas.
Because they were a tiny bit disappointed in a few things, and we thought having a nice event for them would make them, because they've been coming like this next year would be 23 years. We would not like to lose them, so that was just our thought.
Yeah, so we were thinking we would do it during that week that they're here, so probably a weekend.
And letting them know as
And letting
soon as
them
possible.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
they can
part of what we want to do
wrap up.
is reach out to them and say, we're sorry you had a bad experience last year, but we'll do better.
That's awesome.
Don't give up on us just because of one bad time. So that is the request. We have a Facebook page that we boost different events for. We have the art walk, which we're not going to do every month next year or every
We're gonna just do one art event in June next year instead of an art walk May to October. So we do 2 ladies' night out. We'll do one art event. We'll do the Taste of Port Orchard. We participate in all the Fathoms events. We participate with Chimes and Lights. You know, if there's an event going on, we're participating with Harbor Fest this year, and this Seagull Calling Contest. We'll do something along in that weekend as well. So that is the request for the Port Orchard District Association. We requested money from Kitsap Bank, sponsorship from Kitsap Bank of $2,500. We got $1,200 last year for Ladies Night Out. And we also have sponsors for the Taste of Port Orchard. The last 3 years, it has been $1,500 in cash and $500 worth of advertising for the Port Orchard Independent. So West Bay Auto, Abaddon Enterprises, and BJC Group have all been $500 sponsors the last 3 years for the Ladies Night, or for the Taste of Port Orchard. So that money isn't requested as part of the LPAC reimbursement request. Questions?
How many members does the POBSA have?
About 80, 85 right now.
In the advertising, the print ads, is that Kitsap Sun independent or combination of?
It is not the Kitsap Sun. The print ads are some in the Port Orchard Independent. We also do print advertising in a little paper called the Country Register, which goes Oregon, Idaho, Washington, British Columbia. And they print every 2 months. And they go into antique stores and fabric stores and things like that. And they do, it's really very nice because you get a color ad, half a page color ad or quarter page color ad for $180. And if you send the press release, they'll actually print the press release as an article in the paper with your ad. So they've been nice to work with. We also do some advertising in Art Access for the art walk portion of it. And that's primarily the print advertising that we do.
And we were thinking of the old stuff, which is.
And then there's a new antique, or another antique one that we're gonna try out.
Oh, I know,
well,
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Are you going to get the Antique Roadshow people to come too?
we're gonna try.
I've already, can I tell them?
Yeah, you can tell.
Oh, very good.
No, you can talk on this one. You can
Oh,
talk on
good.
this one.
I've had him out. He's very nice. He's even showed me on the monitors how it's going to work, and
Oh my gosh,
it
this
just
is
sounds so
fabulous.
good. It just sounds like a fit for us in the town, and
Yes.
it's not, well, it's a little spendy, but it's something worthwhile.
And
I think so.
And date time, so 2017 with Chris Kraft. Is that in June?
Not sure about the PBS.
But yeah, you might not know when they're showing it,
Yeah.
but when they're doing
Right.
it.
We have to look into that. Yeah.
But we thought that would be
awesome.
a good,
What a great
Yeah.
reach out.
yeah, we thought that would be a fun one to try.
I was nervous having him come out. I thought I was, movie star for a moment type. Oh, but he presented it so well. It was amazing, really. Talked me into it in 10 minutes.
That
It was
is
good.
awesome. I
Yeah.
think that's going to be a great draw.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Okay,
Other questions?
any questions?
I just have what happened this year to cause the Chris Kraft people to be disappointed?
There wasn't enough, there was no interaction with downtown this year. The Chris Kraft people felt like they were pretty much ignored. A lot of the businesses weren't open on the Sunday or the Monday that they were here. They were concerned about the crime that they perceived down at the port. They were concerned about the homeless and the amount of activity they were seeing late at night.
Was it the Pokemon people
No.
hanging out?
No.
This was-
Well, it's hard to tell
Yeah.
because
There were
Well, that
so
was
many
before
people.
Pokemon. June was before Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh, and this was in, so they moved from July to June?
No, it was July.
It was in July.
Yeah, it was
I
July.
think part of it was the Oasis kids in the back. That was Friday night. They had a party down at that's their big party. And the kids were just a little, their usual. We're
But
used to them, but they
they're,
weren't used
No,
to
yeah.
them.
Have you talked to Oasis about
Oh, yes.
if you do this next year?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that, yeah, they
Yeah.
told me.
I didn't realize it'd be a problem.
You don't think about it, but the Port Orchard Bay Street Association itself and the merchants downtown. A couple of years ago, we put up the signs that
We
said
did.
"Welcome Chris
We
Craft."
didn't do
We
it.
didn't do anything.
Mm.
The year before that, we did a scavenger hunt for them. This
Yeah.
year, we didn't do
What
anything.
we should
Yeah.
We really didn't do what we should have
Well,
done.
but now I had cookies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I had cookies and I really didn't hear anything about that, but Kathy heard a lot.
Kathy
about
heard a
it,
lot,
you know,
and
more
I've
about
heard
it.
some from people that participate. The city heard some, Rob heard some.
And I had some really good sales. They are really good as far
But it's
as my
hard when the
sales.
businesses don't. So our goal this year in 2017 is to really encourage the business to be open.
Was there a voter bag or not?
No.
No,
So who didn't do that?
The port used
didn't
to do that.
Port
year?
usually does that.
Port normally does, and they didn't
They
this
dropped the
year.
ball
They
this
didn't
year.
do
No, they I guess they were underfunded or something for it. I'm not sure what exactly happened.
They
Yeah,
didn't do it.
they
Okay.
didn't do it.
We all dropped the ball.
Yeah.
There's
La-
nothing to say other than we all dropped the ball.
Last year, the chamber brought us real nice signs, said, "Welcome boaters." We had no signs. They were they liked that,
Yeah.
and we didn't follow through.
We
And I
didn't.
didn't think about it.
Well, did
I'm
you guys
sorry.
know about it or what?
Fred, they've been here for 25 years.
Yeah, I mean,
I never know which week it is. I don't remember.
It's the same
Yeah.
weekend in July for
Yeah.
25 years.
I
So
don't-
it's not like
It's
it was on
not-
the event calendars.
It's not publicized. I
And they're
feel,
not marketing it
yeah,
either.
I feel the port needs to really come out and
They market it
publicize.
to their own. They market to their own Chris Craft people. So the Chris Craft people
Right.
knew, and the people that follow Chris Craft
Yeah.
people knew. But we just
It's a wonderful show. If you haven't gone down there to see these boats,
Oh, it's amazing.
No, I see
It's
it when
And they're so
amazing.
friendly. They
I
invite
see
you
the
on their
once they're
boats.
there. I
And
don't
it's
know
very
ahead of time
interactive.
if they're gonna be
yeah.
there.
But you
Yeah.
should have, and that was us. We should have.
Yeah,
done it.
it was our
the
fault.
weekend after the 4th?
This
It
is
might
the
be.
third. It's like the 10th or 12th or something. Isn't it?
Could be the weekend after the 4th.
It's on the look on the Port Orchard.
I think this year, I always thought it was the
Yeah.
third week, but this year it was the second week, so maybe it was the weekend after.
Oh, there's no date on there, Bobby. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it just says,
July.
Because it snuck up on me.
yeah.
On there.
So anyway, we want to reach out and say we're going to do better.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want you to go someplace else.
Will Popesa do that? Reach out?
Yeah,
and-
absolutely.
Okay.
And I know the city's planning to do some. I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to reach out and
Great,
say we
great.
really don't want to lose you because that would be terrible.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, where are they going to go? Bremerton?
Away altogether, is what I heard.
That's too bad. Okay.
It would be a shame.
I like seeing them here.
Yeah,
But-
I do too.
The Bay Street's working on it because Kathleen and Kathy are working back and forth and they're gonna send some letters and so we are working on it.
So you're gonna send something to the Chris Craft
Yes,
students so that,
yes.
because they could
So
be
they
planning
know.
now.
Right,
Right.
and
We're-
Kathy
We're,
knows
we're
that.
doing it as soon as possible
Great.
Yeah.
so that we can get ahead of their planning to go someplace else.
Good. That's good.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Those are great things.
And you have one more.
Sydney. Sydney Museum Arts Association has been, is a nonprofit association. It has been here in Port Orchard since 1972. It runs the City Museum and Art Gallery as well as the Log Cabin Museum. The Sydney Art Gallery and Museum building is the only building in Port Orchard that's on both the state and national historic registers. We get a lot of people who come specifically because of that. They come from out of town to see the museum. and the log cabin. So and the other thing that we get a lot of are people that used to live here that come back for reunions or that are coming into town to visit relatives. They love to come and look at the old pictures and stop in at the log cabin and wander through there. So we get a lot of visitors for that reason. We also do a art show every month that brings in a lot of people. So the ask this year is for the website, for the sign that we have out on the highway. The print publications that we do are Art Access, which is a publication about art galleries that is statewide, and it's distributed from Bellingham to Portland at hotels and chambers and places like that. And we were for a long time the only art gallery west of Gig Harbor until you hit Port Townsend that were advertising in this. So for a long time there was this silence about anything going on from Gig Harbor to Port Townsend. So a couple of the Paulsbo art galleries are advertising in there now, and one of the Bainbridge Vinyl ones as well. The web site, I've asked for an increase this year because there is an app for your smartphone that is designed for museums, and it's a web page as well as a phone app, and it will let you do video, digital, sound, and people could actually walk through and see exhibits at the museum. They could hear the story that you want to tell them while they're there, or they could walk through on the website before they come to see the stories and to hear things and to view video and things like that. So it's called On Cell, and it would allow events. So when someone came into town, their phone would tell them that this was available, and they would be able to see events that were going on. They would be able to see pictures and video and hear audio about the museum and about Port Orchard. So that's a new effort for this year.
Nice.
So is it geotag?
Yes.
So when you're in a certain spot, something happens.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have to only be in the museum, or could it be outside?
It could be outside. It could be, the way that it works is, so for instance, I can do the whole downtown historic map that we do, so that it shows what all the old buildings were and tells what a specific downtown location was. And that would all be digitally on your phone at that point. You can do scavenger hunts with it. You can do, it's really very cool.
Mm-hmm. Nice, okay.
Okay. Questions?
How much does that particular thing cost?
That's $3,000.
Okay. That makes up the difference
Yeah,
from last year.
that's the difference.
Okay, and lastly, it's the city. We have 4 applications from the city.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was very informative.
So you want me to go up front?
Sure.
You,
And then we'll,
the Queens.
Gives you a chance to stretch.
you can either stand or sit.
I'll stand.
Okay. All right, how about
Do you have a
chimes?
preference?
Chimes.
Chimes and lights?
Which one are you starting with?
Chimes and lights, they're asking for 12.
So Festival of Chimes and Lights. I apologize, I don't know the exact year, but we're going into our 19th year. Is that correct?
How old is this building?
About 18, so I think we're heading into our 19th year. I'm working on brochures now, so I don't have the brochures with me. But this is a city event that basically started with the building of City Hall. It was a fundraising effort to have a big party, if you will. And the kickoff to the holiday season was the Festival of Chimes and Lights, hence the chimes into the building. And then what they ended up doing as part of when they built the city hall, they had tiles. So we have tiles that you can engrave on the Prospect Street side as well as the Bay Street side. And so that was overwhelmingly successful, and so they had some money left over, and that's when they decided to have a Festival of Chimes and Lights. And so for the first year or two, they continued to feed off of those funds. And then as the funds dwindled away, it's my understanding that the committee chairs at the time would go and seek sponsors and raise funds to support the event. And it's my understanding that the reason behind the event was to kick off the holiday season for our in memory of our new city hall, and to kick off the holiday season for our citizens, the public. And so each year the funds become less and less from the public and is more supported from the general fund of the city, including decorations of downtown. A couple years ago, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, the city had pitched in, bought new garlands, and even purchased wreaths to decorate the town in honor of the upcoming Festival of Chimes and Lights event. And so the city the city has continually, for at least the last 8 years, requested funds from Kitsap Bank as part of their Connections Proposal Program, and we typically get anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. This year we asked for $5,000 for 2017, and the reason why we asked $5,000 from Kitsap Bank is to help sponsor garlands and wreaths. So our garlands and wreaths have reached the lifespan of them. Mainly due to the outlet connection. The bulb and the circuit connection is not weatherized, and so because of the rain and the nature of them being outdoors for that amount of time, typically only have a lifespan of 4 to 7 years. And so this year we were able to piece together with what we have, and all lights of the garland and the wreaths will not be lit, and they really haven't been in the last year or two. So this year it may be a little bit more noticeable because less of those bulbs are functioning. And so the goal for 2017 the goal is to put funds into the general fund to help replace those. A couple years ago we did make the switch to all LED, so they're all LED lights, but the mechanism that houses the outlets just over time between wear out, circuit out. We just don't have the manpower to switch those out. You have to untwine them, gather them, zip tie them, and we have a staff of 1 person that could do that. It's not something that the community can come and help with just because of the wires are so sharp. We just don't want the liability of the public getting injured while replacing those. And then the other thought is outsourcing them, just the bulk of them, the cost to ship them to a warehouse to fix them and then ship them back just isn't feasible. You're talking about a half a truck that you have to ship across the United States to get worked on, and then there's a lead time, and then you have to get it shipped back. So long story short, we're doing what we can to reach out to get funds for replacement of the garland. And we did reach out to the state auditor to see if that is if the city could use lodging tax revenue to help replace those, and the answer is no. The city could use their general fund to help decorate downtown, but they cannot use lodging tax revenue for decoration purposes. That's not the intent of the funds. So with that being said, we have I have included in the preliminary budget to council to fund the $7,000 to $10,000 that's going to cost to replace the funding, or the wreaths and the garland. So as the background, the reason for this ask of $12,000 is because currently the City of Port Orchard Public Works and the Police Department help during that event. And as part of the application, it has a snapshot of the timesheets of the officers in the Public Works Department to help with not only the day of the event, but the week of preparing for some of the events and then takedown. So not all of the funds is being requested at this time to get reimbursed. The $12,000 is to relieve the general fund of Public Works and Police Department supporting this event to hopefully free up that money in the general fund to replace the garland and the wreaths. And then I think I did overskip, but if I didn't mention it before, I meant to say that we increased our ask for Kitsap Bank to help sponsor some of that funds of the garland and the wreath. So that's what the Chimes and Lights ask is for. The bulk of it is to, again, reimburse the Public Works
They can have
staff.
their names embedded in the wreaths if they did it right.
Could be, yeah. And then there is a small portion of it going to outside marketing. Just thinking outside of the box and seeing if we can reach out to Visit Seattle. Staff was successful in reaching out to them and giving them brochures for the foot ferry, so we were going to see if we can reach out to them as well to promote this event and other magazines for the Chimes and Lights, or not magazines, newspapers.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have a question.
Mhm.
So is this the one asking for 12,000 or is this the one asking for 14,931?
This is the Festival of Chimes and Lights asking for 12,000.
Okay. Because on the, sorry to jump in, but on the next one, that's
Mhm.
supposed to be police and public works, but you said.
Correct, for all events besides Festival of Chimes and Lights.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. And so that is the ask. Anybody have any questions?
So I'm a little, because at first I thought you were saying it was mostly for the decorations, but this is mostly for salary and benefits.
We can't pay for decorations.
Correct. It's to offset the general fund so we can buy decorations.
So that they put money into, in other words,
We can pay for the labor. We
Okay,
can't
so
pay
we
for the
can-
decorations.
Right. No, I got that part towards the end, but originally I thought you had said, so that's why I was confused. So this is mostly for salary and benefits and a little bit of outside marketing.
Correct.
Okay.
And you might as well talk about the Fathoms one, which you've talked about, or the 14,000 overtime.
So I'll lead into the next ask, which is the staff was asked to put in the,
Police and
it's the
public
full
works.
amount, I think it's the full amount. So staff was asked to get to seek reimbursement for all events that the officers in Public Works participate in. And these are the events that exclude exemptions stated in a resolution that's active. So, for example, this does not include the Fathoms Parade, it does not include the Chimes and Lights, it does not include the cruise. There's a handful of events that the City Council has adopted by resolution that they will not charge employees time to help put on those events. So the $14,931.63 is the, I'm sorry, I take that back. So the ask is for, let me think about this here. I had, when we were doing so there's a handful of events, the Jingle Bell Run, the Christian Life Center, which is the Cruise and Sunday Car Wash, the Yukon Do It Marathon, and the Seagull Call Splat 5K run. So they all pay for police support. So any additional police support that needs part of their event, they actually pay the city to have those off-duty officers hired and participate or help them with security basically for their events. The other events that is not included is the events that are part of the resolution that the council set that says, hey, we are going to allow public works and police department support to these events. So staff was asked to put in a reimbursement for that portion of the cost to operate or to help set up, take down, and have security at the events that currently are not paying for their services.
Okay, so I
know I totally confused you guys, I'm sorry.
On your list here, you're showing the 4th of July, the cruise, Hogfest, chimes and lights. So you're asking for money based on 2015. So like Hogfest isn't happening ever again, so that's.
But there may be new events that come up that.
But you're asking for things that are not being paid for, or you're asking
Correct.
for things that are being paid for?
Are not paid for.
So so Hogfest was never.
Which means is they
grandfathered
were
in,
never
correct.
charged to the vendor or the.
No, Hogfest was charged to
Okay.
the vendor.
Oh.
So you're asking for
The ones where the city general fund pays for.
the ones that are exempted from being charged.
Yeah, Hogfest should have not. I didn't realize that they paid for city services.
Yeah.
Which I don't always see the invoices,
We
so.
paid for city
And
services.
this came from finance, so
which one are we
I
on?
apologize for that.
The 14,000.
We're on the 14,000.
Okay.
Okay. So it's events that are not, it's all events that do not pay for the services now. So I apologize if there is a portion of events like the Hogfest that pay, they should not have been on here.
So what events are we talking
So
about?
it's the 4th of July fireworks, the cruise, Jingle Bell Run.
Valves too? Is Valves included? Because they don't pay.
Yeah, it's the parade,
Okay.
fireworks,
Valves parade.
cruise. And I apologize, chimes should be taken off too.
Okay, so this is the money that's always been there to pay for the police department and
Public Works.
public works, because these are not-for-profit organizations, basically. And it's part of a city resolution, if I remember that correctly, that the city will do that and not charge them. So they're changing it and gonna charge them.
No, they're not gonna charge them, they're gonna charge LTAP.
Us, like, okay,
Right.
they're gonna
They-
charge
they-
us instead.
They want lodging tax to pay for that instead of the general fund.
Correct.
Yeah, so.
But and it wasn't budgeted into the general fund?
It probably is, but they
It
want
is.
to look for other ways to use lodging tax. Remember, the council is often looking for ways to use revenue in creative ways. Yeah, so that's why this presentation is here.
How much, I'm confused with all of this, how much do we get totally? When
80,000.
we're
It's
80?
95, it's
Yeah.
190,000 for 2 years or 95 for 1 year.
Per year. So when we figure this, we had to know that, right?
Yeah.
We'll
well,
hopefully have a
kinda keep
spreadsheet
it-
by next
yeah.
week.
Yeah.
That'll
Oh,
show
okay.
what
You'll
everyone's
help
asked.
us with that. Oh, okay.
I've estimated that people have actually asked for 156,000. Chris probably has another number.
157,409.
Well, I got
Of which-
165.
Which is
I'm
almost
thinking,
twice
how do
of
we
what
get
we-
this out of here?
Oh, wait a minute.
And the
I got-
portion of the
No, I took
fee-
the 1,000, I
A
took that
little
1,000
magic,
off
I
the
guess.
chamber.
Oh,
Okay, so it'd be
okay.
158,129.
I got 157,409.
Okay.
And of all,
I get
and the
160.
total amount that the city's asking
Hey,
for
but that's what
is
Excel told me.
56,439 between the three requests.
So,
So
There's a fourth one.
there's
there's
a
one
fourth,
more.
there's one more?
Or there's
Okay.
two more, actually.
on Brandy's
Yeah.
ask though, based on what you're saying, 1,900 needs to get taken off anyway because it's for things that
Correct.
shouldn't have been
Right.
applied for.
So maybe the 14,000 is really 12,000, round it down. So,
Because I
And
have,
they are,
Really, there's more.
because we've got,
Actually, they're talking about
you've got 14,000.
Charging,
so it's gonna be
Yes.
more, because it's gonna be off of the police and public works.
But you're talking
This one
about
doesn't.
So did the
securing
city
money
not?
from the city to pay for the,
What was that?
you want the city to have money to be able to buy the decorations.
That was not the intent of this ask.
She just overlapped that one.
Right.
Okay.
For
So
Chimes and
right
Lights, I
now,
was
yeah,
asked
so
to
the
do
right
that.
one that we're
Yeah.
talking about right now is this is to cover what the city typically has covered in the past for the nonprofit organizations for staff and security, police.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
and rounded down the stuff that shouldn't be in there, it's right at 12,000.
And they'll be, so that's the ask. And I know that moving forward, they're going to be more diligent in logging timesheets as to all of the events. So these are just the major events. These are not the events that take place that may have Public Works time into it, but not necessarily police security. For example, we may have to post it's not logged into here. Last year we had a trunk or treat show in October. And so we had to have Public Works come in and post signs and that type of thing of the parking lot being closed and taking them down. There's some other things that was the intent of the request, is to capture Public Works and police support for public events. So we just went and said, okay, what did we do last year? A snapshot. This is about what we've done. And so we expect that the same, if not more, will be used or charged for
Projected
2017. So you can't exactly, because you have wage increases, you have benefits that increase. So, but
But
still.
you're asking for the ones you aren't going to charge for.
Correct. All the ones that we don't charge for police and public works support. And these are on the report, are the major ones, not the little ones.
And so my next question is, this puts heads and bids how?
It doesn't, they're trying to see if it's an allowable use that the committee approves of.
And
And it is
we did
allowable.
reach-
It's
we did
allowable
reach out to the
use.
auditor.
Yeah.
And it is
Yeah,
allowable.
and I don't mean it personally to
Yeah.
any of you,
Yeah.
Fred, being not Brandy with the presenting. I'm just going, I'm trying to see where the council,
Well,
how
that's-
they're logically coming up with this being a
The way that I
viable
was
request. Yeah, yeah.
So the way that it's been presented to me the reason to ask for it through lodging tax is that it may not put heads in beds, but it does generate revenue through sales tax dollars. So that's how they're gonna support.
All the lights and chimes.
In
No,
the
Chimes and
public
Lights is
events,
part of this.
public events. Public events in general with
That
this
the
police
city
support
does
and
not
public
put on.
works, right.
That the city does, public events that are put on by other organizations.
Help bring in revenue
Now, all of
through
these,
sales tax.
all of these hours are supposedly extra hours that would not have been worked for any reason.
I know for police support, correct. They hire off-duty officers or volunteers come in and actually do that work. Public Works, I think,
It's
with an
overtime.
exception of Chimes and Lights, I think it's overtime. With an exception of Chimes and Lights, it's overtime. Excuse me. All the events are overtime for the officers, including Chimes and Lights for Public Works, except for all the other events on Public Works. I believe it's within their standard duty. So to put up signs and close, they do it within their working hours. For the police department to do security, it's usually, they can't take an officer off the street, so they have to bring somebody out that's either on vacation or day off or reserve and actually pay for them to come in and
So
monitor the
Public
events.
Works is getting paid regardless of whether they put the signs up or not. So they might as well put the signs up.
I believe so, correct, with an exception of Chimes and
So
Lights
we have
because they're doing
broken
other things,
down,
but that's
okay.
my understanding.
If we want to break it down, we do it on this.
Okay, let's move on. We have two more.
Wayfinding or Summerfoot Ferry, which do you prefer?
Let's do the sign up there.
Okay, so Summerfoot Ferry, this is just, we don't have
we don't know what the exact cost's gonna be, so we projected $9,500. For 2017, still early numbers in that we don't know what the contractor is going to charge per rate. The city contracts with Kitsap Harbor Tours to run the foot ferry service during the summer. And then we ask other local jurisdictions to partner with the city. And so the last couple of years, we have asked Kitsap County, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If they do, they're last in. And so for 2016, they were or are a partner. However, we will not be needing their funds because the city of Port Orchard, city of Bremerton, and the Port of Bremerton have already basically covered the services. So the proposed service of $9,500 is the city's portion. The overall cost is estimated to be about $27,000, with the city's portion $18,000, and we're seeking $9,500 from LTAC because there's another $9,000 that we estimate that will be cash received from the riders. So we do get whoever rides the ferry, whatever pays cash, the city, the partners get split, 2 to 3 ways. So that does come off of the cost. And so we haven't met with the partners yet. Typically we have to wait until the foot ferry numbers are in, and we're still waiting to be invoiced from the vendor to find out how successful this year's been before we can.
So you don't have numbers yet?
Mm-mm. So the partners, it's my understanding based on Kitsap County's comments for this year, doesn't seem very interested in partnering with the city next year, whether last in or last out or neither. They feel that it's not a benefit to the South Kitsap community as a whole. The Port of Bremerton was reluctant to participate in this year, and typically they participate in $5,000. This year they were only willing to give $2,500, with the understanding that they may not budget for 2017, as they also believe that it does not benefit the boaters.
Who is talking to the
With
county?
the exception of 1 or 2 events, and that's where the $2,500 came in. It says it is successful for 2 of the events. And this partnership conversation happened with Kitsap County was not able to be at the table, but we did have port representation. Port's Commissioner Stokes as well as Kathy Garcia was at the table. We had Patty Lent there. We also had Councilmember Ashby there as well. And so that was our meeting late last year for this year's funds. And so we will again attempt to get all the partners together to see what the contributions will be. And so my estimation of $9,500 is anticipating that Kitsap County will not participate, and that Port of Bremerton will only do $2,500. And it's an increase, I should have wrote this down, and it's an estimated increase of 3% for the cost per hour. Because I believe last year it was a 5% increase, so I'm hoping that maybe it'll be only a 3% increase from the hourly rate.
Is this just for Sunday service?
No.
This is
Friday and
for
Saturday.
Saturday nights,
One extra
Sundays,
hour.
and holiday days.
Okay,
Yeah.
Saturday
So,
night.
so we didn't talk to the county.
Right, because that's my question.
Well, when
We
you
talked
said the
about
county,
last year.
yeah, when you said they're not going to do it next year. who
Well, they
did we-
said that they're reluctant to,
Yeah.
and.
I think they'll actually do it if we approach them in the right way.
Well, I know that the mayor had reached out to the commissioner, and the commissioner had wrote a letter to the city asking for certain things. And if those things were not met, they will not participate in next year. And it's my understanding that those things aren't possible. They want.
Was that all about the foot ferry, or was that more
correct.
than the foot ferry?
It was regarding the foot ferry. They want somebody to take zip codes as they are entering, and that is something that we don't believe that Kitsap Harbor Tours will be doing, or that we can monitor.
Why does the city think it has value? Why does the city think it has value?
The extended hours?
I do not know. I would say it's a.
You want to know why the hotels think
No,
it's?
no, I want to know why the city thinks it
Because
has
it creates
value.
synergy with Bremerton.
I love it.
There's a lot of riders.
I
I'm
can't
down there at
believe you.
night.
And especially on Sunday, if nothing else. Please, Sunday.
And I know that there has been conversations by the Economic Development Chair, Councilmember Ashby. She has gone and done a poll through the downtown businesses to see how effective the foot ferry is during the
Mostly
summer,
don't
during
care.
Saturday and Sunday and Monday, and that's my understanding of the report. So right now, this is, I'm
Did she
trying to
talk
get
to
ahead
you?
because
She did not talk to me, and
Okay.
I would have a totally
Yeah.
different thing.
Well, it
to
was
say.
a non-scientific survey, but she asked a lot of questions, but it is a
Did
source
she ask
of
the
information.
people who were open or not open?
She
She asked
asked
people who
who
were
she
open.
spoke to
Well,
on the
there's-
day
how many is
that
that?
she went to, yeah. No, it's
Three?
not scientific, it's
it's
just.
an informal
Not
survey.
Yeah, it's an informal
scientific.
survey.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, because the foot ferry services is not funded out of the general fund, if I don't ask, then chances are it may not be funded by the city at all. So that's the point of this request.
Anecdotally, Pops have bought free tickets again this year. It was a little bit late in the season,
Very late.
but we spent $180, which means that's 90 rides, is all. And that's a free ride.
So originally,
So
when this
late.
came up, it was a benefit to the city. We actually made money off of it. And it was just for the holiday events. And so as things progressed and partners got involved, it has gradually went to Sunday and then Saturday and then Friday night and Saturday night. And then because of reduced funding, Friday night wasn't included. And then this year, for 2016, no Fridays and some Saturdays, but we couldn't start until, one day in May, and then we couldn't do any in June until the last meeting in June. So it's kind of
It's
a
an irregular schedule.
It
And
is
people can't,
irregular.
if people can't count on that, they're not gonna ride it. They're not
Right.
gonna
Right.
know
It
whether
was
it's
a
running or
very-
not.
So
Yeah, it was
I know the
true.
original intent was to provide service to people to come down and participate in the events of the city, and then it's just kind of progressed from there. So I don't know. I know that when we had our meeting last year with the city of Bremerton, they feel it's very vital to their events and to the community, and they supported 150%. Port was total opposite, and the city, I think, is just kind of in the happy medium. They can support it both ways. I don't know that there's ever been a verbal statement as to why the city as a whole feels that it's a benefit to the community or to tourists. It's just kind of something that we've progressed over the last 9 years. So.
So do we have to sort of wait, or do we just come up with a number, or how does this work?
If the committee brings forth a recommendation to the council to fund some, all, or none, if there is some funds, then it will just be
Added
put
to.
next year, and if it's not funded, then it just stays in that pool. And I guess the benefit of us being at a biennial budget is that we will be able to monitor, okay, this did not come in as claimed, so we can, if you guys only do 95,000, half of it, then you can say 95,000 plus whatever was awarded
I
that
see.
did not, so you'll have a little bit more gauging it that way for the 2018 year.
So 2,500 will come pretty much from, what did you say, Bremerton?
Port of Bremerton is what I'm estimating, but last year they came to the table and was adamant that they weren't going to be supportive of it, and then we were able to talk of it to some,
see.
so they dedicated
Okay.
2,500. And then the city of Bremerton, they said that they will put, whatever the city of Port Orchard does, they believe in it 100%, and
Good.
They've also calculated what they thought their share of was just for the holidays. Because I talked to Patty Lent at one time, and she said, well, we calculated that our half of the holidays would be, and that's how they came up with their figure.
I see.
But they are also they also believe that there could be synergies between the two cities, people going back and forth. So they like the idea as much as some council members do.
Well, and then
Thank you,
Bremerton's
Chris.
other side of it is they have the big Washington State Ferry that goes back and forth, and so they're not, where for our town to be able to have that little ferry going back and forth has a bigger need to have that operating so that people that are coming from Seattle, whether they're staying in Bremerton or whether they're staying over here, preferably over here, but it's just I think it definitely impacts the businesses in this town to not have that there on the weekends during the summer months.
And then again, a thought too is that having this run and people coming back and forth, increases the sales tax. So that's, again, it doesn't put heads in beds as much as probably other events, but the thought is we get them in here, they're at our restaurants, they're shopping, that type of thing.
Well, it'd be great. It would be such a great promotional thing, I think, to promote over to Seattle. And they could take a vacation and they don't have to get in their car and just ride the ferries over here and back if we knew when they were running. In fact, I know one family wanted to do that, but the ferry wasn't running on that particular Sunday or something. So there's a great potential if we could just get the schedule regular.
Sunday, it's a Sunday, maybe.
So that is that, and then the last one that the city has submitted was for wayfinding signs. So the city went out for bid for the actual constructions of the signs and removing the old ones, and I provided that as part of the packet. And so it's my understanding that the city has already budgeted, and I believe it is for, I want to say it's already been budgeted for this year, for 2016, so we should be having some signs up, I believe, by the end of the year, is what I remember. And then what we have done is in the biennial budget, as part of the supplemental, is a request for $40,000 for additional signs. And the additional signs is to basically add more vehicular, and it's not even a word, more vehicle directional signs, and then some more signs out by the parks. Also, I believe a second information kiosk within the city. And it's my understanding that it's in the supplemental for $40,000. Staff was asked to submit to lodging tax revenue funds, as is allowable use, for half of the funds. So if lodging tax can support half of it, then possibly the council in their budget process will take it out of the supplemental and put it in the general fund. And so I have attached just a copy of the newsletter, a portion of the newsletter that talked about what we've done so far and what the vision is. And I do have that I can pass around if you'd like, the full plan. It's not the full plan, but it's the specs. So here, I'll just pass this around. So this is the signage and wayfinding, what the logo looks like, where the proposed areas are going to be, the type of constructions of the signs itself, detailed plans, and I believe this was passed out at one of the work study sessions, I believe. So I will start this way if you want to peruse it. And if anybody wants a copy of it, please let me know. I'd be happy to provide it to you guys. But I thought it was a little too much to include in the packet, so that's the specs of the signs.
So is my understanding correct that some of this signage is within the city limits, but not necessarily just downtown Port Orchard?
Correct. It should be spread out.
Yeah.
I love the new sign out on the highway. I was coming home from the airport at 3:30 in the morning, and I thought I was hallucinating when I saw this. Port Orchard City Center. I mean, I literally had to I was so dang tired. I was cross-eyed. And I just love it because I never knew where downtown city center is Port Orchard until I lived here for 4 or 5 years. I mean, I had no idea.
And that took about 6 years in the works. So
that's awesome.
That's really good.
It
Don't
is.
end up in Bremerton when you didn't want to go to Bremerton.
I know.
Yes, because you didn't know where to get off the freeway.
Turn here, last chance.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I saw that was downloaded, when it came, and I'm pleased with that. I'm just struggling very
Thank
much
you.
so with the fact that Port Orchard is so big that we can't find our way around downtown and to the main places, the amount of money that's, it's not like we're LA or even Seattle or, I'm not sure what
I've seen
the results of
wayfinding
whatever the
signs
objective
in
is.
downtown areas. For example, in Seattle, they have a sign which is a map, They also have one on Bremerton's Ferry Terminal. And I think the goal, when I sat on a couple of these meetings, was to make it more pedestrian friendly so people, remind people where the library is. I mean, we know where it is, but it is really for people who don't know the area. I think they need more signs telling where parking is because they think there's no parking except on Bay Street. So I think that's sort of some of the background.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandy, they got 1,700 last year for that kiosk. Is that gonna get spent this year?
Yes, that's why the 90 some odd thousand for the project for this year, they have to spend, I think they have to spend it because that's what's in the budget for 2016. And so once that gets paid out, I believe here pretty soon.
They've been ordered, something's been ordered.
Yeah, I'm almost positive, I thought it was
This
coming
is
at the end of
great.
October, beginning of November.
I
Then
had
they'll
one,
seek
I wanted
up to 1,700 because I think it's quite a bit more. Yeah, so that one will get, it's on my task to re-follow up, but
Okay.
that will get used or reimbursed.
And so your thing says the city budgeted 91,525
For 2016.
for 26. Oh, for 2016.
Did I get that right?
You didn't say. It just says the city budgeted 91,525. So I'm wondering where the 20 amount requested comes in.
That's because the city budgeted that amount for 2016, so the city's gonna fund or pay for all of the 91,000. And my understanding that the compromise is, or not the compromise is, but going into 2017, I don't know how you want to word it.
There's an
want
additional
more
The
40,000.
city wishes to have more signage, and so it's my understanding that some signs, or maybe more signs in 2017 and 18 was not budgeted, and so they've added 40,000 to the supplemental, which basically means that, the mayor has to present to the council a balanced budget. So right now, it's my understanding there isn't any additional funds for 2017/18 to add more signs. So the 91,000 is what's budgeted, that's all we get. And so for the next 2 years, there isn't any additional funds to add more signage.
So this is just all on spec.
Correct. So at the request of the development director, he added he added $40,000 to his supplemental budget to get more signs for the city in the next 2 years. And the ask was to put in lodging tax funds for half of that. So the goal is that if lodging tax supports the 20,000, then maybe the council during their budget process will support the other 20,000.
So, but it's for 2 years.
Correct.
So in this.
It's 40 altogether. It's,
Right, but so in this
29,
LTAC, it should be 10 for if we're doing a year.
We're only doing a year at a time.
So it should be 10 for this year?
Well, no, they
And 10
want,
for next?
however the committee wants to do it, but this is for 2017 funds. The city's asking for $20,000 for 2017 funds.
They
Okay,
know we're
I thought
doing
you said
this.
they were doing it for 2 years.
The 40,000 supplemental is the
So
biennial.
20 now and 20 next year, or
Well, it depends
Yeah.
on what is the ask for next year. I don't know that part yet. I'm not here.
Nice job, Brandy.
getting being in the hot seat for the people's decisions.
So they projected 40,000 for the biennial budget.
Total for
Correct.
signs.
And
And for 2 years.
for the biennial, yeah.
And so they're asking for half of that in our 1-year LTAC budget.
Correct.
And they're gonna hopefully pass 20,000, the other half, in the 2-year city budget.
That's the goal. That's
So
the proposal.
We only have to do 10,000.
we only have to do 10 this year and 10 next year in our
Well,
1-year
that's,
LTAC budget.
well,
Can you verify by Monday? Can you just double check on that by Monday? If that's
Well,
correct.
well, I already know. I was asked to
20
ask for
this year and 20
20,000 for
next
this
year.
year.
Yeah.
So however you guys are awarding it, if you're awarding the amount for 2 years, then that's what you want to award this one.
But
We're not.
Why
only
would we-
awarding-
Yeah, we're only awarding for
Correct.
1
That
year.
he wants, they
Yeah.
want 1 year for 20,000.
Yeah, and it
next
sounds
year,
like
they'll
they're
put the
gonna ask for
20,000 in
20
the
more.
next year. Okay, that helps.
Well, okay, what does the LTAC say about that? I mean,
That's up to the, it's an allowable use according to the state
It's
officer.
like a
Is it?
capital.
is it,
Yeah, it's a city-owned facility, so it would be an allowable
Yeah,
expense.
But
not-
really,
The
it should be
LTAC has
10,000
changed
for
so
this year.
significantly over however many years, so you really had to be, prior to this, we had to sit down and look at it from the aspect, does it really put heads in beds? It was a much stronger overlay for a long time, and now the city governments have, and the county governments have gone in and petitioned or lobbied or whatever to
Expanded
make it
uses.
more expanded uses to help pay for city government.
Well, this is gonna be a challenge.
Yes, so I guess.
I
our
mean,
next-
we only have, what,
95,000.
95,000,
And
and
they're
I'm
asking
looking
for
right here,
56.
56, so I'd say that's sort of a lot.
That's a good ratio. Usually it's like 2 to 1. This is almost 3 to 2. So look on the bright side.
Seems like we have fewer
Let me think
applications
about
this
that
year.
statement.
Is that correct, Brandy? We have fewer applications this
It's the
year?
same amount of applications, however, we combined, that's not a good word. We changed the method of how we sought the application. So before, last year, we kind of changed it up and said, okay, if you're gonna apply for marketing, you need to put in one application. If you're gonna apply for event operations, you're gonna apply for that. So it's kind of like what the chamber did. They kind of broke
They
it
got
out.
into three.
So we asked kind of, just to do one application for everything. And so that's why it looks less.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
well, thank you.
And I was gonna do one application, but I thought these were project
No,
specific, that I
Yeah.
felt that it was important, and the chamber makes sense too, as to why they broke it out as well, but that's why you see a lot less.
Sure.
I officially closed the meeting at what time? 8:10.
Thank you. Thank you, Brenda.